can check out NASCAR.com/RaceBuddy and watch the enhanced race coverage from Chicagoland Speedway today with 10 HD live race views, live chat, and live leaderboard. NASCAR.com/RaceBuddy. So as we continue to wait for word from race control when the green flag will wave, is it going to be in one more lap? Jeff Gordon's team is communicating back and forth now.
Quite a bit of rubber still on the track, surprisingly. Yeah, I was just looking at 1 and 2 and noticing that. It's amazing. Bunch of rubber. That's good. Makes me feel good about our changes.
Yeah, the rain really didn't rain that hard. It got the track wet, but it didn't rain hard enough to wash the rubber off.
And this is the one to go lap. We're coming green this time.
Yeah, now we talked about how it may have tempered things a little bit. Things are starting to ramp up from a driver's perspective right now. You have some uncertainty about exactly how much rubber is left there, and then realizing again that this is your opportunity to win a championship starts right here in just a few seconds.
So it's 267 laps around the mile-and-a-half track to make up the 400-mile distance, the first of 10 races to determine this year's champion. The field of 13 racing within the field of 43 here at Chicagoland Speedway. The yellow flag will be thrown at lap 30. Because of the rain, NASCAR will have a competition caution at lap 30.
Yeah, I talked to some of the crew chiefs. They're a little nervous about how this racetrack is going to be green, cool, and probably a lot freer than what they practice. So they're trying to guard against that.
Jason Ratcliffe, crew chief of the #1 seed, Matt Kenseth. Alan Gustafson, Jeff Gordon's head man. Jimmy Fennig for Carl Edwards. All looking on as the pace car heads on the pit road, and the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup begins at Chicagoland. Joey Logano leads lap 1, first side by side. Kane 5, Johnson 48. And Kane picks up that spot, moving up to 6th.
Kind of always glad as a driver to get that first lap under your belt, out of the way, nothing happening really, and find out exactly what the track does have in store for you right now.
Kyle Busch 18, Matt Kenseth 20. That's for 11th and 12th. This is for 3rd place, Keselowski in the 2 and Stenhouse in the 17.
We've really seen this performance on this 17 car, Ricky Stenhouse, pick up over the last month, we'll say, and got their first top 10 last weekend. But look for him to be a factor in this chase as far as getting him the middle of these drivers, because he's a top 10 caliber driver and team right now at some of these tracks.
Yeah, I talked to Chip Boland, one of the lead engineers over at Roush, and they have really revamped their whole inventory of race cars. That's one of the reasons we see a surge in the performance of all of them, and especially Ricky Stenhouse.
And 2nd place, Keselowski, last year's champion. Winner of this race a year ago to start his bid for the title, goes to the #2 spot.
In RAC, that middle groove of this racetrack is working very well. It's not as rough as the very bottom there, but you can really carry momentum, especially down in 3 and 4. I think they'll try to utilize the bottom of 1 and 2 right now, but we'll see them before this day's over up against the wall.
Allmendinger 47, Harvick 29, 16th, 17th. Right in front of Kurt Busch in the 78.
See exactly what that high line does right there as we rode along with Kurt Busch right there. He went high, lost some ground. Whoa, you can see a big wiggle right there. That's what these drivers encounter with the bumps on this racetrack. But Kurt Busch got a big run. He lost some ground in the center of the corner, but made a big run down the straightaway.
Newman, nice move there, 39. And Clint Boyer now falling in behind him in the 15. Boyer the furthest back in the pack where the chasers were concerned of starting position.
You know, like I said earlier, I talked to some people in the garage area, and they said this 15 was one of the fastest cars. If you look at lap times from the practice session, they look like one of the cars to beat. That seems to always change, though, when you get into the real race, when the track conditions are just the way they're going to be and you're around all these cars. But so far, he looks pretty good.
Yeah, well, we saw him just a few weeks ago at Atlanta at a racetrack that's 1.5 miles, even though there's a lot of differences in it. It's 1.5 miles, very worn surface, rough surface, just as we talk about here. He was leading the race.
Edwards, Kyle Busch, 10th and 11th.
How much grip the racetrack has. He's using a lot of throttle right there.
As I was going to say, how little he was out of the gas right there.
Yeah, I think they're probably seeing a lot faster speeds than what they were anticipating being able to run here today. Actually, I think that most of them probably weren't expecting to be able to run here. The forecast did not look good. They probably thought that they were going to run in the sun tomorrow.
And I'll mention that on the radar, there is still a lot of precipitation around the Chicagoland and Joliet area that we'll keep an eye on as the day goes. Just another thing for the crew chiefs to be thinking about. Remember, under NASCAR rules, if the race reaches halfway and conditions prevent its being continued, it can be called an official race.
And you can see there is Kurt Busch trying to take that spot away from Harvick. As we showed the front straightaway there as they went by it a minute ago through the tri-oval, you can still see some moisture that's down on the apron of the track where we will, before this day's out, see them make some passes, but I don't think they'll venture down there right now. Still a little too damp.
So Kevin Harvick trying to hang on to 18th place, challenged there by Clint Boyer, left of the screen. And Kyle Busch and Carl Edwards continuing that fight for position that Kyle's eventually going to win out. That puts Kyle into the top 10. Just underway after an hour and change rain delay at Chicagoland Speedway. Penske cars running 1 and 2. Joey Logano, the race leader. Brad Keselowski, second. Chicagoland Speedway, one of the newest tracks in NASCAR, only opened back in 2001, but it hosts a prominent place on the schedule. It's once-a-year race, the opening race in the 10-race chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Geico 400 just underway. After an hour and change rain delay, Joey Logano started on pole in the Penske 22 and has led all of the laps so far. In fact, he's opened up about a second and a third on his teammate, Brad Keselowski, who is running in second.
Logano has so far just been flawless, and they were spot on with their race team and setup.
Took off a little tight, thinking the splitter. Starting to free up already. Copy that.
One of the things that some of the crew chiefs talked to me about in the garage area this morning, Andy, is how temperature sensitive this racetrack has become where the race car's handling and grip is concerned, and we've certainly seen the rapidly changing weather picture here.
Yeah, the one thing, though, it looks like it's going to stay pretty stable. I'm looking at the overcast skies. I don't think we're going to see any sun on the racetrack, and it is fairly cool. And a lot of the crew chiefs I talked to were predicting the speeds to be higher, and you heard him talk about how the splitter hits, and that's the one thing they need to try to predict is how fast the cars are going to run in the race so they know just how much to limit the front suspension travel. And sounds like Joey's got it pretty close, but it's still barely touching at the beginning of the race.
So there's your leader, a couple lap cars, second, third Montoya, and fourth place Jimmy Johnson, the 5-time champion, who has already moved up rather nicely in these opening laps. Picked up 5 positions in these first 20 circuits. Listening to Johnson work the gas. Doc, he's on it pretty well right now.
And the big question mark was what would happen with no momentum given what they've run with the last 4 weeks. Well, Jimmy Johnson answered that very quickly with the move he's made. And on the radio, he told Jack and House a moment ago, guys, I am really, really happy with the car. Really well balanced. We've got a good rocket here today. So Jimmy Johnson, early on, first laps, very happy with the 48, which, by the way, led the most laps in this race a year ago.
We can hear some of the drivers we talked to in the countdown show. Carl Edwards was one of them, was talking about the lack of momentum for the 48 coming in and how did they assess there as a contender. I think there's one team out there that can go from what we've seen the last 4 weeks out of the 48 and turn it right into championship form. It's the 48 team. I don't think many teams can do that, but I think they can.
I'm not as concerned about the momentum as I am just a couple of times, and we don't know that they have a definitive answer, but we've seen them have some right front tire problems and issues. That concerns me more than anything. Were they doing things, and are they still that close to the edge that could create a problem for them at some of these tracks?
And we've also seen that on the other teams in the Hendrick organization. We've seen Casey Kane have a problem with his right front.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. 88, Matt Kenseth 20. Fighting for 13th and 14th. Kenseth, the #1 seed, coming into the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Not only with 5 wins this year, but 3 of those 5 on 1.5-mile racetracks. Chicagoland Speedway, a 1.5-mile track, one of 5 such 1.5 in the 10-race chase. You're going to have to be good on the big fast tracks if you're going to win the championship, and they've shown a lot of speed on that type of track this year.
They have done that. I wonder, though, lately hasn't been as good as what the first of the year started out for you guys. And as things have evolved, teams have found some things with these cars, with the Gen 6 car. Andy, are they behind just a little bit in that respect?
I think it's a combination of that. I think teams did catch up to some things that maybe the 20 team was on earlier. But also, I think those engine things, the problems they had, they've dialed it back. And I think that hurts you in your development. Once they have to pull back, it keeps you from actually developing your engine package forward. So I think they did take a stumble right there. I think you're going to see them make a big comeback in the chase, though, because I think most of their development was geared towards these last 10.
4 laps from the competition caution. An update on Kenseth from Jamie.
And DJ, exactly what you were saying. I talked to Jason Ratcliffe, the crew chief for Matt Kenseth this morning, and he said exactly that. We had an advantage on these 1.5 mile tracks early in the season, but as of lately, everybody else has caught up. Now, as far as here, he said he unloaded decent. If they had a chance to work on it, though, today, he really felt that they could be a top 5 car.
Well, they're going to get a chance to work on it in just a couple of laps.
Yeah, and you talk about a top 5 car. Top 5, it's not just they're looking for a top 5. You get yourself a top 5 car, then you've got an opportunity to make things happen and win the race.
Just watching his steering wheel position and from that in-car, it looks like he's having to work on it or work to get it to do what he wants it to do, so he needs an adjustment.
He was talking right there, giving some information relayed.
Yeah, they know that competition caution's coming up just a few laps, so they need to get some of that communication underway right now so they'll be ready for it.
17 Stenhouse is running in 6th place with Kane, 5, 24 Gordon, 18 Kyle Busch. That's all for position. 87 Joe Nemechek on a lap down to these cars, as was the black car in the front of the group, 98 Michael McDowell.
We heard Jeff Gordon talk in the pre-race show about don't look at the first part of this year to the performance of our team, but look at what we did to position ourselves for the chase, and they certainly have been much better. I still want to see them be able to close races out inside the top 5 and with opportunities to win, but they seem to be much closer to that than they were in the middle part of the summer.
Remember the big scramble to get into the chase in 2012 for Jeff Gordon. Came here to Chicagoland running so well in 4th position when the throttle hung on his car and he slammed the wall. Had a terrible finish, and that kind of set him back far enough that he wasn't able to contend for the championship a year ago. He got in under the extraordinary circumstances of this weekend. Now we'll see if he can have a good day to start off this championship effort today here in Chicago. Still fighting Casey Kane for 7th place. In the range of the competition caution now from NASCAR, which should come at any second.
These two are still going at it, though.
And there's the caution. Just for scoring purposes, you get one of these planned cautions for competition yellows. NASCAR likes to let a lot of the lead lap cars come through the start-finish line before they put out the yellow and freeze the field. So, 30 laps, what have we learned? Well, Joey Logano's got a great car so far.
Yeah, he showed us that on Friday with a lot of speed in it, and things that they did to it in race trim yesterday during practice sessions certainly paid off for them. And taking a guess as to what this track may do, they were pretty spot on.
Another thing I talked to some crew chiefs about this morning was the possibility of a 2-tire change if they'd only run 25 or 30 laps. The one guy I talked to said that he felt like 25 laps, he needed to get 4 tires, anything more than that. So here we are at 31. We'll see. I do expect some guys to take 2 tires for track position.
Yeah, I'd be hollering if I were a driver. Unless my car were just fantastic. I think putting 2 tires on a car that's struggling, I think's a bad, just to get some track position, could be a recipe for disaster. Get you lapped. We saw a couple of cars have that situation yesterday in the nationwide race. Cost them.
And when you got a lot of cars on the lead lap, and we have 34 of them, when you go for 2 tires, sometimes you're already leaving your pit box when people are still coming in, and you can have a collision and cave in that right front fender. Got to be careful. Pit road's open. We'll see what the strategy call is. All right, Doc.
Jimmy Johnson saying the car getting a little pushy, needs a little front grip. They're going to give him 1 round adjustment there in the right rear. 4 tires, get it completely full of Sunoco fuel. Got to get a good stop. Taper.
Montoya says his car is tight when he gives it real loose on the power, so they'll get an adjustment for him, 4 tires. As for Team Penske, the 2 car, better than it was in practice, but it's still loose in and off the corner. For Brad, he'd like an air pressure and wedge adjustment. Same for teammate Logano, as they will get adjustments as well. Let's see who wins the race off pit road to start.
It's not going to be the 22 because of that right-hand column.
There's your 4 tires, Dale.
Yeah.
Got to pass some cars.
I'm still going to like them if we go long green, which we see here a lot.
And new restart rules next. Fandorsements gives you a chance to become a sponsor of your favorite driver. Tweet or Instagram a photo of your driver's number with the hashtag Fandorsements. And if your driver is in the chase, your name could be on the car during the race. Send us your photos. How about this one? Young Ian Wilson sent us this photo, his favorite driver, Clint Boyer. And so today here at Chicagoland Speedway, it is Ian's name over the door of the 15 car.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Isn't that outstanding? Congratulations, Ian, and we'll see whose name is over the door of their favorite chase driver next weekend at New Hampshire. So NASCAR announcing in the drivers' meeting earlier today an adjustment of the procedures used for restarts. Still the same, the zone within which the control car, the leader, gets to make the first move and restart the race. And if you get to the end of the restart zone and the leader hasn't moved, the starter will wave the green flag and off we go. What's different is the rule about the number 2 guy can't beat the number 1 guy to the start-finish line is gone. Reaction in some way to the events of Richmond last weekend. Remember, this was the last restart. Paul Menard spun the tires, clanged off the side of Carl Edwards' car. Carl just went, and no call by NASCAR. Paul later saying, yeah, I spun the tires. Carl was good. It's no problem there.
Yeah, you can see the 27 car did go first, but then Carl was able to get better traction and drive on. That's going to be legal now. They didn't want to have to micromanage these restarts.
That's the key, is NASCAR didn't want to get any more involved, so they're putting it in the driver's hands. Let the driver that is the leader of the race, he still gets his lane choice. Let him start the race, and then whatever happens from that point. You still have to stay in your lanes till you get across the start-finish line, so that hasn't changed. But you're not going to be making these calls, or the lack of the call, as some may have thought, because I actually thought that Carl Edwards should have had to give that spot back, but NASCAR didn't deem that. So I think it's a lot better for the drivers, and I think they feel better about this.
And so you do still have to not change lanes until you cross the line, because then you get people bouncing off each other, and restarts just mean wrecks. But once they wave the green flag, you're racing.
Yes.
Go. Caution has been extended. Report of a couple of raindrops in turn 3. I really didn't want to say that.
I don't think it's last. It looks pretty good right now.
I hope so. So pace car still in front of the field, and now here we are going to get the one to go this time at the start-finish line. So that's good. And you were right. It wasn't long.
Well, we'll see.
Race fans, think you know something about speed? Buckle your seatbelt and play AT&T's Fastest Driver Challenge. Text FAST to 34763 and predict who'll have the fastest times in today's race. Brought to you by the nation's fastest 4G LTE network, AT&T. Rethink possible. So a shuffle at the front of the standings by strategy played out on this first round of pit stops. 5 teams going for just right side tires. Jimmy Johnson's, Kyle Busch, the team of Dale Earnhardt Jr., Matt Kenseth, and Eric Almirola. Just right side tires. Joey Logano, yellow and red 22, leader onto pit road. First one off pit road with 4 tires, but he will restart back in 6th place.
This is going to be a good experiment right here because these are good cars that took 2 tires. Jimmy Johnson, 48, 18. Those cars were really good that first run. Joey Logano now on 4 behind them. It's going to be a good experiment to see if this really will work later in the race.
That makes it interesting, though. It looked like Junior and Matt Kenseth were both struggling with the handling of their race cars a little bit. And to put 2 tires on it, I'm not sure that you know exactly, what created the situation that you may have now. May work perfect for them.
Well, maybe the problem they had was they didn't have enough clean air. That is one thing that will help by getting 2 tires.
They'll have a little more
cleaner air for Matt.
So on this restart, Jimmy Johnson is the race leader, 48 car. He's chosen the outside lane. He is the control car for the restart. He's the one that gets to make the first move. Kyle Busch's challenge is to stay with him and not jump him.
All right, man. Just remember the new restart rules here.
And you heard from Kyle when he was in the pit studio during NASCAR Countdown about the concern of drivers laying back and trying to get the running start on you and so on. I guess that means those guys in that second row, Dale Jr. and Matt Kenseth, would be guys worth keeping an eye on here also.
Now, I think NASCAR's going to keep a good eye on the gaps that they see behind these other cars and to see if anybody is trying to lay back and get a run.
That didn't look like Jimmy Johnson will let up.
No.
Oh, when you have a good car, that's the things that you can do.
That was Jamie McMurray we saw fanning out all the way down on the apron. I guess they feel it's race ready.
Well, if he felt it's race ready, he was going to test it for sure.
Clear. Martin Truex, 56. Trying to pass Ricky Stenhouse for a spot there. That would be for 8th place. And I guess out of all of the events of the past week, the thing your heart goes out for most would be Truex, who obviously knew nothing of all that was going on around him on the racetrack to try and help him get into the chase. As Martin said, all I did was drive my heart out the last 3 weeks, and these last couple with broken bones in his hand.
Yeah, you got to give him a lot of credit for the guts he displayed in those last 3 with that broken hand and performances that he felt like he was doing everything he could to get in, and I think so too. It was just the circumstances surrounding the team that kept him from getting that berth.
Running 9th at the moment, just ahead of Jeff Gordon. Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch, Dale Jr., Matt Kenseth, front 4. Eric Almirola and Richard Petty's 43. Up to 5th place.
And he's on 2 tires also. We're seeing these 4-tire cars behind him not able to have a big advantage, at least at the beginning of the run. I know, Dale, you're probably going to be watching the latter part of this run to see what the advantage is. But right now, I'm pretty impressed with this 2-tire decision.
Yeah, and what I'm seeing is what a lot of these drivers tell me. It's kind of where you're running. Andy, you brought up the clean air fact, and that's a lot of the decisions that go into this is getting your car out front in that clean air being worth more than what the tires are and the grip that they bring on it.
Who'd have thought as we left Homestead Miami Speedway last November watching Brad Keselowski with his big toast after winning the NASCAR Sprint Cup, that we come to the beginning of the chase the next year. Brad would not yet have a win and wouldn't be within that group competing for the championship.
I talk to these guys almost every week, starting last year in the chase because of what they were doing, and I just trying to keep up with them. And I talked to them this morning. I said, it's almost like you guys took a year off. He said, it didn't seem like you were even that disappointed when you didn't make the chase. He says, well, we were disappointed. And he said, I can tell you this. This is one of the guys said, we're going to win half the races in this chase, even though we're not in it. And I said, that's pretty confident.
You can see it's almost unprecedented that the champion from the prior season has gone this deep into the year and not scored a win. His victory in this race a year ago was Brad's 4th win already in 2012, but that was 12 months ago. This is 2013. And Dave, they're trying to win their first of the season this year.
With a brand new race car, Paul Wolf told me kind of what Andy was talking about. Disappointed, yes, but they're coming to try to win these races. Could they help their teammate by running parts and pieces that are maybe less than what is normal, during the chase? Yeah, but that would occur later on. They were set up for the chase this weekend. They're going to try to go out and win today and win as many as they can before this is over. Right now, the two pretty loose off, according to the driver.
And giving us a little bit of an answer up to the question, what will the strategy be later in the race? Because Brad now, the guy closest to the front that changed 4 tires on the stop, and he hasn't passed any of the guys that just took 2 on pit road under the competition caution. Jimmy Johnson out in front at Chicagoland. Aerial coverage for today's race provided by Goodyear. Everything we learn making tires that face the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Live look down on Chicagoland Speedway in chase race number 1, and we give you unlimited access to the chase with NASCAR Mobile 13 and unlimited talk, text, and data on the Sprint Network. Dale Earnhardt Jr. picking up a big chunk of ground on the pit stops, the only round of pit stops that have been had when his crew chief Steve Letarte called for just right side tires. You see the track position gain for Dale Jr. there. You can get unlimited access to the NASCAR Mobile 13 app with the unlimited My Way plan, guaranteed for life and only from Sprint. See sprint.com/speed for details. Junior might be about to give up a spot to Matt Kenseth, 20 car, trying to pick up Junior's 3rd position. And Brad Keselowski, now the first car that took 4 tires on the pit stop, closing on the both of them.
Yeah, I think this is part of the run. We're starting to see those 4 tires starting to edge towards the front, Dale.
Yeah, and as they go on, if they get in a full fuel run here, I think that you'll see somebody like Brad Keselowski. Of course, he's a lot of ways he's 3.5 seconds behind the lead of Jimmy Johnson right now, but I think that difference will be made up if they go a full fuel stop.
Update 88 car from Vince.
Well, the handle isn't quite there for Dale Earnhardt Jr. right now either. Says it's really, really loose off. So he's not having the drive off that he needs. Remember, as you said, Alan, took right sides only, no other changes on that first stop. They'll look to tweak on that chassis a little bit next time.
Whoa, hang on there, Junior. Said they tried 2 tires in the final practice yesterday. Didn't really care for it. The driver didn't.
So let's do that right from the start here.
Got to get that track position.
Make him appreciate when he gets forward.
Yes, he will.
Barely hanging on.
Did he say they're
Barely hanging on.
on?
Barely hanging on. Sometimes you got to move up the racetrack with those when the car's that loose. Hard to do with it being that loose, but that's the one way that you can kind of combat that situation.
Jeff Gordon trying to take a spot away from Aric Almirola here. This would be 7th place. You heard Jeff's comments earlier about to the chase field and their determination. Yeah, they felt like they belonged by the work they've done on the racetrack over the course of the season, and particularly this last stretch of the season. Now they want to go out and take advantage of the opportunity.
One thing they're going to have to do, though, is they've had a lot of races where they ran good the first 3 quarters to even maybe 7/8 of the event. And at the very end, they seem to fall flat and lose spots. And I think that's one of the things they need to work on. They've got a good car today. We'll see if they can keep it up all the way to the end.
Here's your top 4. Brad Keselowski in the 2, now up to 4th place. You know, we saw this from this race and this tire in last year's race, is that the strategy was going to be a big part of it. New car, a lot of people weren't quite sure what difference it might make, and another year's aging on this Chicagoland pavement. But what we're seeing right now is that the strategy and the track position are going to be big pieces of the chess puzzle, the chessboard again today. So already coming up on the 100-mile mark of today's Geico 400 at Chicagoland Speedway, Jimmie Johnson leading. He's never won the first or last race of the chase, but he's won a lot of them in between.
You know I'm here. I'm here for the morning.
Here for the money, here for the trophy, here for race number 1 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. And Jimmie Johnson is your race leader here at Chicagoland Speedway. One caution in a race delayed an hour and change by rain so far. That was a competition caution for NASCAR for the teams to check the tires. Strategy played, shuffled the running order at that point. Joey Logano led the opening laps until the yellow. Johnson has led since. Now we see a change for second place as Matt Kenseth goes to the number 2 position. And Kyle Busch tries to see if he can gain some ground on Brad Keselowski back.
Yeah, Keselowski's still coming with those 4 tires that he got. And I think, again, before this run is over, that'll be the best thing. But Matt Kenseth has done a nice job. He is actually moving forward with those 2 tires and a good adjustment.
Casey Kane, Kurt Busch there, racing for 12th and 13th places. Greg Biffle just ahead of them, 3 of the championship drivers. And Ricky Stenhouse giving up a spot to his teammate, Greg Biffle.
You see Kurt, he's trying just about anything to try to get by this 5.
Yeah, you know, I think we all expected a lot more of Casey Kane. I mean, Atlanta got caught up in something really early, but we just haven't seen some of the speed places that we expect him to be, and he may be there before this day's over. But generally, a lot of times we see him the first part of these races really get that middle top group going and work his way to the front. Of course, he's got a lot of stiff competition to deal with.
It's not easy, is it?
No.
I mean,
especially when you get to these last 10.
Yeah.
And Casey has been one of the better on the mile-and-a-half track configurations so far this year. 3 second-place finishes. I think maybe that's part of that whole frustration with the Matt Kenseth thing, besides the couple of bumps and bangs they had in incidents earlier. But check out his mile-and-a-half track runs. Discount Atlanta, that was that restart accordion that collected Kane and Jimmie Johnson and so on. And they've been terrific. And that's what you're going to need to win this championship. You're going to have to be terrific on these big, fast tracks and not have big problems on your weak spots.
Yeah, I think if this race goes all the way to the 400-mile mark, this 5 will be a factor. I think one of the problems they're going to have, though, is that we do see some rain out there on the horizon. It could be a situation where they may not get all of the laps completed and have to kind of shift that strategy a little bit.
95 car on the apron there. That is Reed Sorensen. Looking like he's going to make it back around to the pit lane. 22 Logano, 18 Kyle Busch, 4th place. Remember, Logano led the opening 32 laps of the race. Took 4 tires on the pit stop, shuffled him back to 6th. It's taken him a lot of this run to pass even a few of the cars that just got the 2 tires.
Yeah, I mean, I like this 2-tire strategy we've seen out of Jimmie Johnson and some of the other ones, but I'm actually surprised that you didn't see this 22 and the 2 car kind of go to the front a lot sooner. We're starting to see it now, but kind of surprised 4 tires didn't make much more difference than they have.
Logano to 4th, Kyle Busch back to 5th.
Tony, this is 2. Looks like the 20 car sounds asleep last 2 laps. Yeah, really nothing different than what we're doing there. He was a little bit lower than the 88. He's running about the same line as we are. It's just too tight. Center exit. Before the center, through the center. Exit.
Got the trio there, crew chief, spotter, and driver.
Everybody getting involved. And I think Matt Kenseth's car was tight on that first stop. They got their 2 tires and made a good adjustment that got his car turning, where Kyle's car still not turning in the center and still too tight on the exit too.
Carl Edwards started in 8th place in that 99 car. You see him back there knocking around in this fight for 14th place. 29, Kevin Harvick. 55, Brian Vickers. Remember the first race you had here at Chicagoland back in 2001, how fast the place was, but how narrow the groove was?
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Now look at it.
Yeah, became a much better racetrack as it seasoned and got the character that it has, as drivers call it now. And yeah, that first, it was just because it was so fast, it was very much nail-biting. Jimmy Johnson on pit road.
4 tires.
Yep.
One down on the Panhard bar. One down on the Panhard bar.
Brad Keselowski following him in. Green flag pit stops here.
It's just a little earlier than I expected to see him come down. Doc?
You heard him say 1 down, Panhard bar, 4 tires, Sunoco fuel. Jimmy saying the car still just a tick free coming up off. Also said he felt some chatter in the right rear tire under throttle as he's coming up off the corner. Left side tires going on, Calvin T.
Right rear, go back to the right rear. Go back to the right rear and tighten the lug nut.
Going back to the right rear. They said the lug nuts on. Now they signaled Jimmy to lead. 20 seconds, got long stop.
Yeah, that's a bad deal right there. If all those lug nuts were on, that official held them up. Cost them a lot of time.
More green flag stops, Jamie.
And Matt Kenseth saying just a tad bit loose this time. Going to do a track bar adjustment again. This time put 4 tires on, fill them up with Sunoco fuel. Vince?
The 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. way too loose off. Chassis adjustment, 4 tires, and Sunoco fuel.
15 of Clint Boyer is in. His car is very, very tight this time. He'll get a chassis adjustment as well as 4 tires and air pressure adjustment full of Sunoco fuel. Joey Logano has been on and off of pit road. He had a track bar adjustment for a car that at this point was really loose in and off. Vince?
The 18 of Kyle Busch has just been too tight from the beginning of the center to the exit. They're going to make an air pressure change, 4 tires for Kyle Busch. Jamie?
Casey Kanan can't turn on exit is what he said. Wanted a wedge adjustment again, 4 tires. It was a good stop. Dave?
78 crew held their own on the first round of stops. Big chassis adjustment for Kurt Busch this time. Let's see if they can maintain again. So far, a smooth stop for this young crew. New front tire changer. They get the job done. Vince?
The 24 of Jeff Gordon's going to get a chassis adjustment, air pressure, and 4 tires. He says he's just too tight all the way around. Not unhappy with the car, but just a little too snug to do what he wants to with it.
Martin Truex told his crew if we can get this car to turn up off the corner, we'd be great. So they made a track bar and air pressure adjustment, 4 tires, and full of Sunoco fuel for Truex.
Kevin Harvick on the pit lane as we work through this second round of pit stops, Doc.
And they were trying to keep Kevin on the racetrack, thinking the rains would move across and he would be the leader if they stopped the race here just for a brief moment. The rains haven't come. Chassis adjustment, 4 tires. Kevin says it won't turn on entry. It's tight in the middle and it's loose off. Big adjustment. Jamie.
Carl Edwards stayed out to lead a lap and get that point, saying he's a little free now, a little too loose, but just a hair. Pretty happy with the car overall. 4 tires as Carl Edwards' team goes to work in the #1 pit box on pit road. They'll fill him up with Sunoco fuel. You see the chassis adjustment there, 12.5, getting it done for Carl Edwards.
That is Kurt Busch coming down pit road for a pass-through penalty, speeding, exiting pit road after his green flag stop. He came in 12th. We'll see where he cycles back.
We're going to section 5.
Now, the Kevin Harvick thing that Doc mentioned, staying out to try and see if they could catch a break. There have been some reports of raindrops around the racetrack, but NASCAR spotters that they have outside in all the corners say it's dry there for now. We stay under the green. Dave?
And I can tell you the drops are definitely falling. Ryan Newman stays out, leads a lap. He will now get a chassis adjustment for a race car that is loose and lacking overall grip. They'll change for it, they'll adjust. He'll try to move forward from here.
Danica Patrick leaving the pit lane. Dave Blaney leaving the pit lane. David Reagan leaving the pit lane. 3 more to stop to complete the cycle. Jamie McMurray there in the 1. Casey Mears and J.J. Yaley. And looks like McMurray's coming to the pit lane here. Jamie?
Jamie McMurray making his way down pit road, coming off his second best finish of the year, fourth last week at Richmond. Not going to work on his car, a little bit tight up top. We saw him running down low for that reason. They'll fill him up with Sunoco fuel, try to get this car freed up just a touch. And Alan, there's just a few raindrops, but they're intermittent.
Officials continue to keep an eye on it. We continue to stay under the green flag, and the cycle of stops is complete. Matt Kenseth out in front. Jimmy Johnson finds himself about 5.5 seconds back after that right rear issue that we'll follow up on when we come back to Chicagoland. Back live, Chicagoland Speedway, the Geico 400, the opening race in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Matt Kenseth is the race leader after a cycle of green flag pit stops where Jimmy Johnson was out in front before the cycle of stops began. Johnson leading by some 3 seconds at that point, now finds himself back in 5th place, 5 seconds behind the race leader. Some trouble and then some confusion on the right rear.
Yeah, NASCAR made a bad call right here. We had a little trouble, you see, on the right rear. The tire changer has to put a lug nut on, and then the official says, hey, you've got a problem. He starts getting Chad's attention, and this disrupts the flow of the entire pit stop. This is costing them a ton right here. This is a bad call. I'll tell you one thing, he's handling a whole lot better than I would, because they were leading the race. They have led the most laps so far. And this, with what's at stake here, leading the most laps is important. And this costs them the lead.
It is, but there's a chance they were going to lose that lead anyway. They were going to have a slower pit stop because he had to take that time to put that on. But you're right, they disrupted the whole thing. Jimmy sat there for a good 2 to 3 seconds after that it had been done, just to make sure that he wasn't going to go out and then have to come back in.
Johnson there taking 4th place from Kyle Busch, but you see some 5 seconds difference there, and Jimmy going from 3.2 seconds ahead to 5.3 seconds behind on the swing.
Yeah, but there's still some more time there. Dale just said it. After they let the car down, that's when it stops the pit stop time. He was sitting there in the confusion, so it cost even more time than that.
So Jimmy trying to make his way back to the front. Has a little passenger on the nose of that grill also, by the way.
Yep.
Something to keep an eye on. And for Matt Kenseth, who took the green flag in this race back in 10th position, now he finds himself as the race leader. 2-tire call on the first stop to move up to 3rd place. Moved up to 2nd late in that next run, and then got the lead on the exchange of the pit stops.
That's a perfect execution so far for this team. Like I said, the car wasn't that great in that first run. Right where they need it now.
Yeah, and we've seen them do these type things all year long, really, especially in the first part of the year. They use some strategy, get themselves in position to win races when they didn't have the very best car. And, that's the kind of things you're going to have to do and make these calls in this chase. And it worked out very, very well for this race team.
We'll talk weather, strategy, halfway, and a couple other things in just a minute. First, we'll talk about NASCAR.com/RaceBuddy, where you can watch all the enhanced race coverage today from Chicagoland Speedway with 10 HD, live race views, live chat, and live leaderboard. While we race today in Chicagoland, we remind you that the NHRA Carolina Nationals final eliminations can be seen tonight at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN2. And then next weekend, the NASCAR Nationwide Series with 7 races to go and 17 points between 1st and 2nd in the championship. Races at Kentucky Speedway next Saturday night, 7 Eastern on ESPN News. Race 2 in the chase is next Sunday, the Sylvania 300 at New Hampshire. We start with NASCAR Countdown on ESPN at 1 Eastern time next weekend from New England. 2nd place at stake here. 2 Keselowski, 22 Logano, and 48 Johnson.
Yeah, I think Brad Keselowski ran up on Danica Patrick to make a pass on her and kind of lost the nose off of turn 2. And his teammate came running at him hard, wasn't able to get by him there.
So let's follow up on the conversation of before about strategy, halfway, and weather radar.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that they got the cars pitted as early as they did. Jimmy Johnson started the cycle, I think, after they'd run about 43 laps, and I expected them to try to extend that a little bit and try to get through this run through halfway. And I don't know if they can do that. I think they're going to have to pit again before we get to halfway.
And
I agree with those numbers, yeah.
Yeah, and back to Johnson's situation and what all of that created. If this race goes most of the distance or all the distance, that's probably not going to be a big deal. But if it only goes to halfway, it could cost him the opportunity to win.
So there's what's coming at us, sadly. And you can see right at the center of the bullseye there is Chicagoland Speedway right in there. So the crew chiefs all have that information and all have that data. They're all watching that. They all know that at any time after halfway, should it rain, it could, doesn't necessarily have to be, but it could be an official race. And you have to play accordingly.
Yeah, you do. You have to kind of plan on if it does get to halfway and rains, then it absolutely could stop the race. And that's the way you got to plan your strategy.
We do have lights here.
Yeah, let me just throw something at you. You talk about them pitting sooner than you expected. Would Chad Knaus have called Jimmy Johnson in to start a cycle to make sure they have to pit again before halfway?
Hey, I don't put anything past
I just, I have no idea.
I've not thought it through that deeply, but I think that they've had some problems with that right front. They probably did not want to push it this early in the race and the chase, and they got and they have a good car. And if they're leading the race, if they pit, they'll drag a lot of people in, and that's exactly what happened.
So halfway in the race is 1:34. You see where we are now, top of the screen, and expecting everybody to have to pit again about 1:25 or so. Oh boy, we got. Whoa,
there's one around.
Yep, trouble, caution.
Now the rain spin right there.
Cole Witt spun off turn 4 just as you saw that camera lens fill up with water very quickly.
Yeah, I just looked out and saw this rain, kind of a wall come over the racetrack. I believe that's exactly what happened.
Look at that.
Yeah, it came really quickly. You could see it from the booth here. I just pointed it to Allen, and then the 30 car went around.
And Brian Vickers almost spun in front of him. Yeah. So they were all sliding around all of a sudden off turn 4.
You can see Montoya had lost his car a little bit and actually slowed down because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, these things don't drive good when it starts raining at 190 miles an hour and slick tires. Montoya's got a flat.
Yeah,
probably
he's slow. Probably from where the 30 car hit him.
Could be.
This was Casey Kane's view of things.
As he went down, you can almost see the racetrack darker up there.
Down on
See
the
that
bottom
all the
track,
water
clear.
they're getting into?
That's one of the most scary things as a driver is at a high-speed racetrack. That happens so quickly, and you don't even have time to adapt and adjust to it.
Casey did a great job of adjusting to it.
When you get to where you can't see, you could see he was coming up on a car in front, and even though you could see through our camera, you really can't see out the windshield very well.
And as heavily as you saw that rain hit the windshield of the 5 car and then stop as he went further down the front stretch, now it's quickly moved over the entire racetrack. And you see some of the fans starting to take cover as the field is led down the pit lane behind the pace car. Boo!
I'll tell you what, that could have been a lot worse than it turned out.
Yes, it could have.
I think I remember an incident similar to that at the All-Star race at Charlotte. They all went in at the start of the race and went into a storm just like that.
Yeah.
And it crashed how many cars? I mean, almost
Well, a bunch of them. All of us didn't wreck, but those ones that did got to bring out backup cars. And one of us finished second to one of those backup cars.
Did I open up an old wound right there?
A little sore spot?
Yeah.
Not that I hadn't forgot all about it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think somebody down at the pit studio probably remembers that too, because his car was the backup car, Mr. Evernham.
Well, started the race delayed an hour and change by rain. And shy of halfway, this is the scene that we did not want to see.
Well, it is what it is. We'll just deal with it.
And Clint Boyer rounding out your top 10.
Gonna go onto the red flag at Chicagoland Speedway. Cole Witt with a spin after it started raining as they charged into turn 4. Lucky it wasn't worse. The Geico 400 Chicagoland Speedway has gone under the red flag for rain. A race delayed an hour and change by rain at its start. Now shy of halfway, the weather has interrupted chase race number 1 again. Tomorrow night, a battle of division rivals looking to avoid opening their seasons 0-2. Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers visiting Paul Brown Stadium to face A.J. Green and the Bengals. Coverage starts with Monday Night Countdown at 6:30 Eastern. Then Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. Tomorrow, 8:25 Eastern on ESPN and live on Watch ESPN. Monday Night Football. Drivers have been told to get out of the cars, and they are available to us now. Dave?
Best reason to check in with Team Penske is because they have the largest umbrellas on pit road right now, I do believe. So, and thank you. Yeah, they can also block us out. Let's talk first to Brad. Brad, beginning of the race, cars seem pretty good. You're still running up front. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep up with Joe. I think Joe's a little bit faster than I am right now with the Miller Lite Ford, and ran me down there at the end, trying to figure out how to make my car faster and maybe give him something to make his car faster and go up there and pass the 20 car. It looks like the 20 and the 48 are two of the best cars. Obviously, the Penske cars are pretty strong too, but we just need a little bit more.
What do you think about the way the track has changed? Obviously, it's going to kind of change back now, but what was the first transition like?
It's interesting. When the track has no rubber on it, the speeds were almost as fast as what we qualified, and the cars don't fall off. That just shows you how big a difference the rubber on the tires being on the track makes, but the speeds are way up, and it's a lot of fun to drive.
I appreciate it. Stay dry. Joey, he says your car's a little better right now. You agree?
I think I got a really fast car. We showed it in the first run, and then we got back in dirty air. My car's just a little too free to beat racing cars, so we're getting a little bit more racy as we work on this thing and try to tighten it up a little bit so I can get around cars and hustle the car a little harder. So, but I feel like that last run, especially towards the end, we're every bit as good as a 20. I just had to get past the 2 and try to work our way up there. So Shell Penzo Ford is really fast right now. Obviously, it's going to change a little bit of it, but I think we got a shot at it. We got something for him.
A couple of green flag pit stops already. Do you see the way that this race is running? You see that pattern holding for the rest of the day?
Yeah, I can see that. It's very hard to pass, and so it's hard for us to even get to each other right now.
All right, Joe Logano still running up front. He was the pole sitter and maintaining his position on the track. Alan?
Dave, thanks. So Joey Logano running third, Brad Keselowski second, behind leader Matt Kenseth. Jimmy Johnson was the leader until that green flag pit stop at lap number 75, when they had a little trouble on the right rear, and the officials thought that there was a lug nut missing and then corrected the call, but by the time the confusion was unconfused, Jimmy Johnson went from a 3-second lead to 5 seconds behind and back in 5th place. Doc?
And we were up here with Chad Canals. And Chad, we try to explain to folks at home what happened on this pit stop we're showing here with the right rear. The official, I guess, assumed that there was a lug nut missing.
Yeah. There was one hanging there. One had fallen off during the hand-in, so it was kind of hanging there, but the tire changer had taken the time, did his job, did a great job, Kelvin did, of getting the other lug nut on there and making sure that it was tight. The official thought that there were only 4 on there. Well, we all make mistakes. That happens from time to time. Hopefully we can get the Lowe's Chevrolet back up towards the front and get up there and compete for the win.
You were very calm and composed when you talked to Jimmy afterward, and didn't seem to be riled at all. Externally, internally, were you a little hot?
Well, as the competitiveness inside of me obviously didn't want that to happen. We felt like that, we had a good opportunity to come in and retain the lead. Unfortunately, we fell back about 5 seconds because of that. So we'll just have to get out there and battle with it a little bit. But I think we'll be okay. Car's running really good. Jimmy's doing a great job, and the guys did a really good job of preparing the race car. We just have to get this rain out of our system. Looks like we might be racing underneath the lights, which might make it pretty exciting.
You called him in a little bit early for that second stop. Was that a strategy move to make a second stop before halfway, or were you worried at all about a right front?
No, not worried about tires at all. We just wanted to get in here. We felt like that we had everybody in a position where we could capitalize on it and catch them off guard and maybe get out there and pull all them down pit road. And all that worked perfectly. The only problem we had was we were a little slow on our pit stop.
Hey, thank you, Chad.
All right, thank you.
Let's go to Dave Burns.
With Jimmy now. Jimmy, one small hiccup so far today on that pit stop. What were you hearing while you were waiting for the cue to go, I guess?
definitely waiting, and I could see confusion. I saw an official waving. I saw my rear tire changer done and at the wall arguing with Chad, telling him that the lugs were on. And in the end, I guess the official thought that all the lugs weren't on the right rear, and that's where there was a conversation and argument. And Chad didn't want me to leave the box without all the lugs on because it's a penalty, and on it went. So long story short, I sat there on pit road while the clock was ticking, and we proved our case that all 5 were on there, and I took off. Certainly lost track position, but I think we had a strong enough car to get back up there and just get this place to dry out and get my low Chevy back on the road, and we'll be in good shape.
What do you think about the 2-tire call early? How is your car handling with those?
It was good. I mean, my car is driven the same either way, so real happy with how my car feels. It's got plenty of speed in it. The motor's running awesome. It's nice when you get up and run the high line. You can feel the RPM in the engine and 100 horsepower run down the straight. So all is good. Just looking forward to a nice, solid finish today. Good run. Hopefully that's the only hiccup for the afternoon, and we'll be in good shape, when the checker falls.
And we just talked to Chad. He said it'd be exciting racing under the lights, which it looks like we're going to get to here. You agree?
Yeah, I just want to race today. I want to get home and see my girls. So as long as we can get in tonight, today, whatever it is, we're ready to run.
And that's 3 girls now he has to go home and see as quickly as possible. AB.
And Dave, good news for hopes of racing today is that they have already sent the jet dryers out to go back to work. You see the umbrellas are down already. But it is going to take a little bit of time to dry up this big 1.5-mile track and get Jimmy Johnson and the other drivers back under green.
Track dryers getting a bit of a workout this afternoon from Chicagoland Speedway. Got off to about an hour delay to start this race. We're now 109 laps in and under the red flag for some rain. If you are just joining us, let's get caught up on all that has happened so far. An all Penske front row, and Joey Logano in the 22 was very quick early on.
Oh, real quick early on. He had a green racetrack, and the temperatures are cool outside, and that Ford is making big horsepower because of it. And he was just rocking out front of everybody with that clean air. The car is bullet fast.
Strategy came into play under the competition caution. Jimmy Johnson, just 2 tires, and that was enough for the lead.
Put him back out front. Jimmy Johnson blazing fast. 48 cars, so strong. He goes out, leads 40 of the first 109 laps.
So far has led the most laps, but then trouble for that 48 on the next pit stop.
Yeah, green flag pit stop. The right rear tire changer knocks the lug off. He stops and puts it on, but the official doesn't see him put on. He's waving him, halts him. The lug is actually on. Then he waves it off, tells him they're okay, but it's already cost him 4 or 5 seconds. Took him from the lead to 5th position.
Lost about 9 seconds total on the track, and this is definitely not what you want to see when you're out there. A wall of water coming your way. On view from Casey Kane. Red flag comes out, and cars down pit road. Drivers now out of their cars, but like we said earlier, track dryers getting a workout, as are we inside the Quicken Loans ESPN pit studio. Hi, once again. What are your early thoughts from early on in this race?
Well, I think we all wanted to see if Jimmy Johnson's back on track. We talked about that a lot. He's fast again. We had him in the pit studio. I said the 2-mile tracks, he's quick. At Michigan, the 1.5 he's been fast. But can they right the ship? Well, I'll tell you what, he took the lead. He's had fast speeds. We just witnessed what happened on his pit stop. That's got him behind. But other than that, I'm giving him an A+ for the speed and getting this thing going again.
A lot of people in the mix, but when you start looking at Jimmy Johnson, Joey Logano, and Matt Kenseth, those guys are super strong. A lot of power, good pit stops. They're serious right now, so I'm anxious to go back racing to see what sorts out.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of strength in the field. I was really surprised by the strength of the cars that took 2 tires and how long they ran. Normally, you think, 2 tires, maybe 15, 20 laps. But those guys that took 2, it was good strategy for them. Matt Kenseth and those guys especially, they got out front and stayed there.
One of the biggest storylines coming into this race, rule changes that NASCAR implemented after all the drama and controversy that unfolded in the race to the chase in Richmond 1 week ago, leading up to this first chase race. Obviously, as we talked about earlier, there are 13 drivers competing for the chase, but to clarify some of the gray areas, they instituted a new restart rule. Basically, it looks the same. The leader is still the one that starts the field in that box, but once the leader goes, the race is on, and we got our first chance to see that this afternoon. It was Jimmy Johnson and Kyle Busch on the front row. What did you think?
I thought it worked because we've said all along it's caused controversy because when you go, you don't know if a guy spins a tire or if I just built a better motor than you and my car's faster, I should be able to beat you to the line. And here, Jimmy gets a restart, good restart. Kyle Busch gets a good restart with him. They pull side by side as they're coming to the start-finish line. Oh, Kyle Busch just beats him by a little bit. Now, last week, that would not have been legal. To me, that's a great start. Not a callback. Jimmy started the race. Kyle's car was a little bit stronger getting to the start-finish line.
And as a driver, that's what I love to see. I don't want to have to go through all this hocus-pocus, getting the thing going. Just go. When that leader launches, I'm coming through that gearbox, and if he doesn't go as quick as I am, hey, look, it's not my fault. And you see Kyle is one of the best at restarts, and it paid off for him.
Yeah, it worked out very well, but I still say give that flagman a green flag. And once he drops it, it is on.
You just want 4 wide. You want it to look like Shanghai. Let's talk to one of the drivers involved in that restart, Vince.
Yeah, Rusty Ray and Brad seem to like the racing back to the line for you guys there to get things restarted. Any difference for you from that perspective after the little rule change?
Ain't nothing like the first one to go the opposite way of what it was used to be, right? The rules, but no, it's just different. But you know, took advantage of that opportunity. Obviously, it's a little bit different when you beat a guy to the line. He's still got the side draft on you getting into the corner, so there's still things that you can learn with it and play with it. So. All in all, though, I think our double mint Camry's been pretty good thus far. It's started out okay, just a little tight, and we're working on those changes. Probably be a little bit different yet now with rain and maybe more rain coming. But you know, I think we're having a solid day so far. Just continue to work on it, get our balance right, and I think we'll get some speed from our balance.
Did you notice much difference, the 2 tires you took on the first stop compared to the 4 you took on the second?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you get an entirely different feel of grip when you get 4 tires, but it was also under green, so entirely different circumstances being able to go back on the racetrack, caution versus green flag conditions. So, you know, there's certainly grip, but aero track position is pretty big today just because it's so cool out and cars are going so fast.
Thanks, Kyle. Kyle Busch currently 5th under this red flag. Jamie?
And his teammate Matt Kenseth was the #1 seed coming into today, and he's #1 right now. Some good changes today and good strategy. How was your car on the 2-tire stop?
I think it was pretty good. I mean, overall, our Dollar General Camry has a lot of speed in it. I think we still have some work to do. I think the rain's going to throw us a little bit of a curveball here. Our car seems to be pretty good when the track gets rubbered up. So track position is going to be key. You know, we have the speed. Jason made a good call. Great pit stop in that green flag exchange, and you know, got it out front. So we'll keep working. Hopefully it dries up and we can run, you know, the whole thing to the end without it washing the rubber off again.
We're hearing some spotters talking about it's been hard for them adjusting to this new rule of not having a digital radio. They have to talk on analog like everybody else. Can you explain exactly what that means for their communication? And not much to do with you guys in the car, but your team.
Well, I've only tried spotting a few times, and it was always for Ross. And I'd tell you what, if I was a spotters, I'd be happy because it's one less voice you have in your head. So you already have NASCAR in your head and the analog radio, and then usually they're used to juggling a digital radio with that and communicating with the crew, which the drivers don't have digital radios or the cars don't. So for me, I would love it because it's one less voice in your head.
All right, Matt Kenseth, when we hopefully go back green, he will be #1. Let's go to Dave.
Standing by with a third member of the JGR driver crew, Denny Hamlin. Denny's given a lot of technical information, a lot of technical feedback to his crew over the radio today, but the one that I remember is, "This is cool." You said that early on in the race today. What were you referring to?
We could drive in traffic. It's something that's been tough for us for the last 10, 12 weeks or so, but the car is pretty decent. You know, passing is at a premium. It's really hard to get around a guy once you catch him, so you got to take advantage when you can. You're going to have to get spots on pit road. My team's done a great job with the first pit stop on the green flag. So we think, you know, with a few more adjustments, find out what our teammates are working on, and they made some adjustments that look like it could help us as well. We'll get this thing back going green and hopefully get us a good finish.
How valuable is it to have a team get together in the middle of the race, especially if you're not running the best of the 3 cars?
Yeah, you've got to just put all that information together, and you know, for us, we got to be as useful as we can to our teammates in the chase, and really to do that, you've got to run well, and so we're trying some different things and experiment with some different things to try to hit on something, and you know, today's definitely a step in the right direction.
Denny Hamlin, relaxed, dry, running, actually standing 13th right now in the standings. Doc?
And from the Joe Gibbs team, so a Roush Fenway team, we're going from Toyota to Ford with Greg Biffle, who's seated 7th in the chase, now sitting 12th in the race. Greg, listening to your radio early on, you began the race very good, then you were tight, then you were very, very free. Why the big swings in the chassis early on?
Well, I think it's because we started on a green racetrack, so as it rubbered up, our car started changing, and then we made a few changes in the pits, and one of them, we didn't get done. We thought we did, and we didn't, so that's the reason why we're a little bit too loose on the this final run right here. So we think we'll get that fixed now, and now we're going to start on a green racetrack again and going back forward. But the posted 3 and Ford Fusion, pretty good car today. I feel really good about getting back in the top 5 and getting up there and challenging those guys for the lead. We just need a little track position. We got fast enough car.
In a football go you have halftime where you can go into the locker room, you huddle up, you talk about what's working, what's not working offensively, defensively. We've almost got halftime here. What do you and Matt Pucia sit down and talk about that you want to try here when we go back green flag racing?
Well, I guess it's a good opportunity to sit and talk for 5 minutes about what the car's doing. And so my car was just, not cutting through the center and then being a little bit loose in the back when I go to the gas. So we know what we want to do to the car. We're going to fix it as soon as we get a pit stop here, and I think we'll be headed back to the front.
Hey, good luck. We go back green.
Thank you.
All right, Greg Biffle, Nicole thinking he wants to receive a couple of rounds of wedge. We go back to racing here after this brief, hopefully, halftime shower.
You know what else we learned in that round of interviews? Denny Hamlin has facial hair.
Yes, he does.
And Matt Kenseth doesn't like voices in his head.
I don't either.
Gives us a chance right now to talk a little bit of baseball. One of baseball's best rivalries continues tonight. Mariano Rivera and the Yankees try to stay alive in the AL wildcard chase to avoid a sweep by David Ortiz and the Red Sox, who, by the way, have the best record in the majors. Yankees-Red Sox from Fenway Park in Boston. Sunday night baseball, 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN and also live on Watch ESPN. It may be raining.
Oh, Brad.
Food's still a cooking.
Hey, where y'all at?
It's like a couple drivers got late invites to the chase.
Hook me up.
Maybe we get the invite to the dinner.
That's a big part of it, too. That's very important. Got to be rested up, well fed and rested.
Like it nap time.
Hammer down, baby.
When we come back, what's interesting is we heard Greg Biffle talk about what he might need when we go back racing, particularly if this turns into a night race. We shall discuss red flag discussions when we come back.
When it comes to week 1 of the chase, we love to talk about mulligans. You still got 9 races to go. There's plenty of time to make up for it. No. Sorry to break this to you, boys, but it's now or never. Chase history proves it. Remember Jeremy Mayfield in 2004? Greatest dash into the postseason there's ever been, and perhaps ever will be. Had to win at Richmond, did, big celebration, awesome.
Mayfield did everything he had to do.
1 week later, Mayfield rolled into Loudon, New Hampshire as a man on a mission. That lasted 64 laps.
Greg Biffle, Jeremy Mayfield.
Mayfield finished 35th, then finished dead last in the chase. In an instant, we learned something very important. Drivers not in the chase, Robbie Gordon, can absolutely have an effect on the chase. But that was just a one-time deal, right? No. That's how it is now. It's been that way since 2004.
Case in point, momentum means a lot. And at Chicagoland Speedway, the last 2 years, the driver that's pulled into victory lane at this race has gone on to win the championship. 109 laps complete, but we are rating out a bit of a red flag. Mother Nature decided to throw a bit of a loop today. It's given us halftime in the NASCAR race, almost halftime, but it brings to mind, last year, the Richmond race, the race to the chase. Jeff Gordon had a chance to get out of the car, make a couple changes, and look what he did when he got back in. He drove his way into the chase. This is an opportunity for drivers and teams to fix what needs fixing.
Absolutely. It's a great time for the drivers to calm down because they're all wound up inside the car. Some have had good days and some have had bad days so far. To give them time to think about the changes they want to make, and also, guys, start getting ready for night racing because that's what's going to happen here pretty soon.
Yeah, and what we had is after the last practice and the initial green flag of today, the rain came, and it changed everything. So some teams were freaking out because they had to start this race not knowing what they had on the green racetrack. Well, now you get your opportunity to replay that, and you should be prepared when we go back racing to take advantage of the green racetrack.
Well, and you've got a perfect practice session, because now it's not just about communicating. Now you can discuss, you can debate, you can lay out a strategy going forward. And I'll tell you some of the other things that these guys are probably worried about. I used to worry about the electronics. So these cars are highly electronic now, a lot of electronics in them. The rain, your radio communications. Yeah. Again, they've limited some of that communication. Will there be problems from that? Keeping the crews warmed up, keeping them in the game, on a delay, we keep saying how important pit position is and pit stops. Those guys have got to stay warmed up.
Saw the one guy taking a nap. So.
Yeah, well, but that's Big Nate. He's staying rested. But you got to keep those guys in the game, and you got to protect those electronics on the car.
Always prepared down here. The former driver has made a list of all the things a driver and a team will need to do in the event that this does turn into a night race, because preparing for another restart on a green track is one thing. Going to a night race, that's a completely different wrench thrown into the equation.
It really is, and Ray just hit on a lot of it, but there's just basic things you need to do. The driver's got to get the smoke lens off the helmet, get a clear lens put on. You got to remember the track's going to be much, much cooler, so there's going to have adjustments made to the chassis because the car will handle different. But Ray, one thing I'm really worried about is a cool track, much faster lap speeds, and engine problems, high RPMs.
Yeah, these guys are going to pick up high RPMs, and in a place like this, it's going to be what we call sustained RPMs. Remember, we talked about cycles and things like that, so they'll be turning more RPM. And, we heard even Joey Logano say a little bit about touching the splitter. Well, the faster the car goes, the more they're going to want to travel, and the harder those splitters are going to hit. So we'll hear guys maybe putting packers in on pit stops and things like that as the cars pick up speed.
And they're somewhat prepared because it's been a very cool day thus far, and we've seen some incredible speeds throughout this first run. Guys running almost qualifying speeds throughout the first run of this race, so it'll be interesting. There will be that sustained RPM, though, so engine problems.
Which makes me think Toyota. Matt Kenseth is out front right now, and if one engine manufacturer this year has struggled in the engine department, at least when it comes to durability, it is Toyota. Now you throw in the sustained RPMs and the thought that Toyota is turned back up, they're back to full strong.
Could be a problem.
Could be a problem, you say?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, we've talked to Matt Kenseth about it, and a lot of the folks in the Toyota group think they've got all their power back, which they had earlier in the season. If they do, they did have some issues throughout there that they had to work on. How well did they do on fixing those issues? We'll find out.
And I'll tell you something else those engine guys are worried about right now. How long are these cars going to sit? Heat cycles. So they got them all up to temperature. They ran them for a while. Now they're going to cool completely down and be cold again. That changes the valve springs, the pistons, all the little things that you worry about. The more times you heat and cool that engine, the more you worry about it.
Halftime also means we get a chance to talk to the drivers who are now resting and in conversation. Outside of the car, Jamie Little has caught up with Ryan Newman.
And Ryan Newman 17th on the board right now, but the rain, unfortunately, is coming down. Tell me about your car, what you guys experienced so far, and what you hope to improve on.
The rain only ever comes down, Jamie. It never goes back up.
Thanks, Ryan.
No, our Quick and Loan Chevrolet is okay. We started off really tight in the center and got it better, and to the point that we're just a little bit free off, and could probably needs a little bit of track position to help us out the most. But it's just going to make it for a long day, I guess.
This smart aleck right here, though, does get emotional, and it has been an emotional week. Last time I actually interviewed you, you were out of the chase. What is it like just being in Chicago, finally getting in your race car, knowing that you're part of this?
Well, I'm glad for everybody's sake that we got to throw the green flag today and get the mindset changed back towards racing. So that's important for our sport and everybody involved. So we'll just go out and have some fun with it. It's 10 races for a chance for somebody's dream to come true, and hopefully it's mine.
All right, Ryan Newman just wants the car a little bit better. Let's go to Doc.
And with Eric Almirola sitting 11th right now on the grid. Eric, you're one of the 5 cars that took only 2 right side tires on that very first stop. Now, you said you and Todd Parrott both knew that the right side tires would work here. Why?
Well, we didn't know that the right side tires would work, but we saw that track position was going to be important. Yesterday in final practice, I came out on new tires and got behind somebody that was on older tires, and I could not pass them, and I ran the same speed that they ran. So we learned from that. We watched the nationwide race, saw that track position was really important in that as well. So Todd made a great call to get 2 tires, and we came out 5th. Our pit crew did a great job getting us out, and we held on. We kept some good track position, and I think we're 11th right now, and I think we were running 14th or 15th before that. So our car drove a lot better up there in clean air, even though we were on 2 tires.
A very good driving car for Eric Almirola. 5 top 10s this year, Nicole. 2 of those have come on 1.5-mile racetracks similar to Chicagoland.
And the Smarty Pantses, that would be plural, in the pit studio would like to point out to Ryan Newman that rain could technically go up if it was evaporating.
Evaporation, that's exactly
We're
right.
going to be on Team Jamie Little here. The full day of racing will continue, hopefully here from Chicagoland, and then later tonight, the NHRA Carolina Nationals, the finals from Charlotte tonight at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN2. And then next weekend, the NASCAR Nationwide Series heads to Kentucky for a standalone event under the lights Saturday night, 7 o'clock Eastern. That is on ESPN News. And then Chase Race number 2 next Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, Sylvania 300 at New Hampshire. So hard to look ahead when we still have so much to talk about here from Chicagoland. Track is drying out. We are hopeful we'll see this guy finish out the afternoon with 158 more laps. It's Jeff Gordon, the 13th and last driver added to the chase. We'll talk to him next.
Sharp as a marble.
Those are just bugs being drawn to the light, correct?
Something like
That's
that.
not actually rain?
Water bugs.
No, I think it is rain.
That
I'm
is
sorry,
actually
guys.
rain. Welcome back to the Geico 400 at Chicagoland Speedway as we continue to wait out the rain. One thing we were talking about earlier, as this day progresses from day into night, some of the drivers will have to change out their visors. Well, for Matt Kenseth, he needed a little help already in this one because it's not exactly bright outside. It's a little cloudy.
No, it's pretty dark outside, right? And you could tell he was having a little problem seeing. He was just grabbed his visor, put it up so he could see outside. And I'll tell you, as a driver, when you're running 200 miles an hour and that dirt's flying to that helmet, getting jammed in your eyes, that's the last thing you want to do is race with the visor up. So now he'll get a clear lens on that baby and get ready for the night racing we talked about.
Let's get caught up with a few other drivers that are waiting out this delay, starting with the gentleman who got a very, very late invitation into the chase. Vince?
6th place at this point. How's the first 100 laps or so been for you?
It's been pretty good. You know, we started 6th. We've passed some cars, and then we had some guys change up their strategy with 2 tires, and so we had to come back a little bit from that. But the car's really, really strong. We're a little bit tight on the longer runs, but we've got a really strong race car. So I'm excited about the rest of the race. Get this rain out of here, and let's get that drive-in Hunger Chevrolet a little bit further forward.
What's the big discussion in regards to the race car and the strategy moving forward with you and Alan at this point when you kind of don't know what's ahead for you the rest of the day?
Well, I mean, we can use the conditions that we had when this race started. It rained earlier. So we're really just thinking about what the track conditions are going to be, what our car's been doing on that first run and each run after that. And it's really just about tuning the car to make it go as fast as possible. Keep the team, warmed up, ready to go, just with that mindset that be ready at any time. Don't get complacent, and we're fired up. This day's going well for us. We hope it continues.
Thanks, Jeff.
We've talked in the Quicken Loans ESPN pit studio a number of times in the last month or so about Jeff Gordon, and after Pocono, after Watkins Glen, one of the things that Brad, you said about him is he just didn't seem to have that fire. Well, the last 3 weeks, not only does he seem, Jeff Gordon, to have that fire, but he has that confidence too.
Well, I think that this second chance in the chase, and again, we talk about communicating, right? Because by communicating, we mean texting, right? We all text like a bunch of teenagers now, but communicated back and forth with Jeff and with Alan Gustafson. And one of the things that Alan Gustafson said was they are not going to take this second chance lightly. They've got something to prove that they have earned their way in the chase, and they're not going to waste this. They really feel like this is a chance. Alan Gustafson really wants to lead Jeff Gordon to another championship. And I kid around with Jeff a lot about, he's still like a younger brother to me, but I kid him about being an old man. I said, "You're going to step up, old man?" He said, "Hey, this old man is ready for this chase."
Yeah, looking at Jeff over the last several weeks, you saw the frustration, and I think it was getting to him just a little bit just because they weren't able to accomplish the things that he thought that they could. So now I look in his eye, and you see that sparkle. And I tell you what, Jeff Gordon, possibly the greatest of all time ever to hold a stock car wheel. When he's on, he is as good as anyone right now in this sport. If Alan Gustafson and those guys can give him the pieces and parts and the communication, the pit stops, everything he needs, he can win this championship.
I wrote a note right here. It says, look at Gordon. He's smiling.
Yeah.
And he's constantly smiling. Now he's really got that fire, like you mentioned, Nicole. But I think part of the reason is he got in the chase. It really got him pumped up. It got him jacked up. And guess what? The first race right now, he's running 6th. He just said he's got a great car. He feels prepared. Look, we got a lot of racing left to go, 158 to go yet, but still, right now, looking good for Jeff
attitude's
Gordon.
everything. They got to win some races now, but attitude's everything.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
you saw that graphic. That does not really tell the story, because some of those races he was running very well and either got involved in crashes or had some engine issues.
Absolutely. Well, the bugs, if you saw them, the bugs, that's what we're calling them. The bugs are really
bigger, too.
They're getting bigger outside. So that gives us
Cicadas.
just more time to catch up with other drivers in the field, including Jeff Gordon's teammate, Casey Kane, one of the wild cards in this championship contention. We'll talk to him coming up. Mother Nature decided she wanted to be the 14th member of this chase. She's making her presence known today in Joliet, Illinois, as we are waiting on a rain delay. We have completed 109 laps, but it is just short of halfway. So it does give us a chance to talk about a few things, including the driver of that 29 car. As we all know, this is his final year with Richard Childress Racing, and it's been a storied career there that got off to an unexpected start. Excuse me. Here's Marty Smith.
On Sunday, February 18th, 2001, Dale Earnhardt died in the final turn of the final lap of the Daytona 500. Kevin Harvick was called in to drive his car, renumbered 29. 3 weeks later, Harvick raced his way into victory lane.
He's going to get him, though. He's going to get him. Gordon got loose. It's Harvick. Harvick inches. Harvick by inches.
I don't really know how I got here, but I'm so glad that I did.
As the fans saluted Dale with the number 3 on the 3rd lap, Kevin Harvick salutes him on the way to victory lane. What could be more fitting? What could be more special?
I think as you follow somebody like that into the situation, it teaches you a lot of things about yourself, and it's not something that you ask for sure. You know, that was the biggest reason that I went to Richard Childress Racing, just for the fact that Dale Earnhardt drove there. That's the guy you were going to be following in the footsteps of him, and those guys having won championships. Now you're the guy that's coming in an emergency situation that's also expected to be the leader. Yeah, right. How am I going to be the leader? I've never done anything like that before in my life. And then you add the pressure of being in that car, being in that situation, and the expectations are pretty high. So that's an impossible task.
What's Dale Earnhardt's shadow feel like?
That's a big shadow. You know, even in the beginning when you had the success that we had the first year, it still was, well, that's Dale's car. And you never could live up to the expectations that were expected because it was always going to be his car and the way he did things. It was an impossible shadow to get out from underneath at that particular time.
At what point do you think you were no longer Dale Earnhardt's replacement?
Oh, it's still there today. I'm not comparing, my situation to Dale Jr.'s situation, but, he has a lot of the same things that they're hard to get out from underneath. I grew up, Dale Earnhardt's, the guy that I rooted for, and that's the guy you wanted to be, but being in his situation is not easy because it was a lot bigger than you could ever imagine. I don't think it's really ever become my car. There's still always that tie to the 3 car, and trust me, I'm very respectful towards paying respect to Dale Earnhardt, but it's just hard to be in that situation and talk about the same thing day after day.
After more than a decade at RCR, Harvick's relationship with Childress became strained.
You need to look at those wheels, didn't we, Richard? Damn it. Drive the car, man. I'm getting tired of driving that car. You get paid to drive it.
All the fights and the tears and the heartache, I thought I'd never get through.
At the end of the 2013 season, Kevin Harvick will leave RCR to follow a new path at Stewart-Haas Racing.
I just needed a change, try something different for myself and move forward with my career in a different direction. And it was nothing really about one particular thing. The thing that Tony offers me is the fact that he's a driver that's going to push me. He's a champion, and that was what I was supposed to follow at RCR, was Dale Earnhardt, the champion. But we haven't had that championship to this point on the Cup side.
How would a Cup championship in that car affect what those fans think about you driving Dale Earnhardt?
Yeah, it would be definitely closure to the whole situation to just say, all right, we completed that circle and we ended it with a championship. That'd be a great way to go out. I mean, that's what we're all here for.
'Cause it led me here to this.
Kevin Harvick has done an awful lot in that car. He replaced Earnhardt Sr. in 2001, won the Brickyard 400 in 2003, won the Daytona 500 in 2007, and he's a two-time Coca-Cola 600 winner, including one this year. He also has 21 total career wins in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, but, there's always a but, no championships. Earlier in the day, you guys pointed out the 18, the 20, and the 48 as being the likely drivers to most contend for this championship. What about the 29?
Well, as I said in the countdown show, a guy like Kevin Harvick gets the momentum. You can't count him out. You know, look at the list of the races that were on that graphic. He's won the Daytona 500. He's won the Brickyard. He's won the Coke 600 2 times. And nobody ever expected in a million years that he could do what he did under such a tremendous amount of pressure in his third race in that number 29 car. You don't ever bet against a guy like Kevin Harvick, who's got not only talent, but he's got that desire.
One thing about Kevin Harvick, I think it makes him interesting, and I think it makes him the one guy in the chase who can stay in the hunt without winning at a lot of races in this chase. And the reason why I say that is you go back to when he was fighting for the championship with Denny Hamlin and Jimmy Johnson, and he was just out-pointing guys. And it's really hard to do in the chase, but he always puts himself in position to get a good finish no matter what. Even though he may not dominate or win a ton of races, he gets those finishes. His mental toughness is above and beyond reproach, and that always gives Kevin a chance. You just can't count this guy out.
He never quits. There's no doubt about that, and I'll tell you why I think that happens. His knowledge of the car is incredible. He has good runs, and when he gets behind, he knows how to fix the car. You guys remember he started his own nationwide team. He developed so many pieces and parts and really got involved in the car. He grew up out there in California learning all this stuff, came here, got with a good team with Childress, started knocking those wins off, then built that team, and that knowledge just kept getting more and more and more. And I think to be a successful driver and be consistent, you need to know that car. I used to argue with Jeff Gordon all the time about that. Remember, Ray?
You were arguing with him a little while ago.
Yeah, he'd say, look, you got too involved in the car, Rust. You need to drive it more. But I'm telling you what, in my belief, you got to know that car. And Kevin Harvick knows it. No matter what team he drives for, he's got that knowledge in his head. He's always going to be good wherever he goes.
Momentum is so important, obviously, in this chase for anyone. But is it more important for a guy like Kevin Harvick, who will not be back with that team next year, to be engaged and be involved in this chase from an early point?
He's not going to give up, like I said. He is engaged, and I agree with you. You're going towards a lame duck situation where he might give up a little bit. I don't think Kevin Harvick's that guy because, again, he knows that car. He can control his own destiny just a little bit. There's other guys that are lame duck that I don't know if they're as strong as Kevin is when it comes to understanding their car and wanting to be involved in that car that much.
This is the problem I see in a situation that could happen with Kevin. Kevin demands so much out of everyone around him. If things start going awry a little bit, he can be really hard on crew members and people like that because of his expectations, and that sometimes can drive a wedge. And if that wedge ever gets driven during this 10-race chase, he could become that lame duck that's no longer a factor. But I don't know. This guy is hard to write off.
I think momentum is important because I think for the 29 car, if they pick up momentum and get out in that lead early, it will build more momentum. And Kevin can be hard on people. You know what? So can I. I don't think he expects more of the people around him than he expects of himself. And he goes to the racetrack and expects to put in 100% focus, don't make any mistakes, and win. And but I do think they need to pick up that momentum early. And if they can get out in these first 3 races and get towards the front, I think they'll build on that momentum and could be a real factor.
Think they can get the barn, the horse to the
I think they can get Richard's got some horses.
The barn to the horse or the horse to the barn?
He's got horses and bears and all kind of stuff.
He can get anything from the barn. It's fine. This day started with about an hour delay for rain, and now we have just hit another milestone. We are now under the red flag for an hour, but the racing will continue tonight. The NHRA Carolina Nationals, the finals from Charlotte tonight at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN2. And then next week, it continues as well with the NASCAR Nationwide Series at Kentucky under the lights at Saturday night, 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN News. And then next Sunday, we are back for race 2 of the chase, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, Sylvania 300 at New Hampshire. Next Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. When we come back, we will continue to rate out the wow.
There you go, partner.
That's commitment.
Hang in there, Jack.
Come on, Mother Nature.
Don't give
That's
up.
Break.
commitment.
Don't give up.
Keep going, buddy.
I'm
Keep
sending help
going.
for you.
And we are back to Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet for the continuation of the Geico 400 at Chicago. Now, if you were watching the NHRA Carolina Nationals, they will continue on ESPN News, and we will continue with the final 158 laps of chase race number 1. You're looking at Matt Kenseth, currently the leader of this race. And as we come inside the Quicken Loans ESPN pit studio, I'm Nicole Briscoe with Rusty Wallace, Brad Doherty, and Ray Evernham. How about a quick recap of what has happened so far in this day? It's our McDonald's race rundown, starting with Joey Logano, who led the field to green.
Yeah, Joey Logano was on the pole. He took off with a very, very fast car on a green racetrack. Cool temperatures, that Ford engine's making big horsepower. He's flat flying around there. He led 32 laps in a really good handling car so far.
Rain had us on an hour delay to start the day, so we saw a competition caution early on and some strategy from Jimmy Johnson. Took 2 tires, and it gave him the lead.
Got him a lead off pit road. That 48 car is absolutely stout, hauling the heat around this Chicago Speedway. He led 40 of the first 109 laps. Absolutely on fire. Jimmy Johnson is back.
On fire, still listed in 4th, despite some trouble on his second pit stop.
Yeah, came in leading here under green. You see the right rear tire actually knocked the lug nut off, but put it back on. The official didn't see him put it back on. He held the 48 car on pit road for about an extra 5 seconds, cost Jimmy the lead.
Lap 108. This is when the delay started. Cole wet in the 30. Getting loose because the track is simply wet.
Yeah, take a look at this. I mean, here they come to the corner, and all of a sudden you see the rain pour down.
Wow.
Now, this happened to me before as a driver, and I'll tell you what, it's hard to hold on to the car. Cole spun the car out, didn't tear it up, and right now that was a red flag because of that.
Just a little bit more than 5 hours of a red flag delay as the cars, yay, are rolling again. Thoughts as we get ready to go green finally?
Well, the biggest change we're going to have right now is we're racing at night. This race has turned into a night race. Because of that, there's going to be chassis changes needed on the car. The car is going to go one direction or another, so the teams will be chasing the chassis tonight.
Lost a lot of rubber off the racetrack. We lost a lot of heat out of the racetrack. Car's going to make more horsepower. You have to be able to make the transitions with your race car throughout the night in order to have a chance. Whoever adjusts the best will win this race.
Well, with that horsepower and with that extra speed, Rusty, those chassis changes I'll be watching for. As the guys pick up speed, they'll be dragging that splitter on the racetrack. You'll see these guys trying to put packers in those front shocks and get the front ends up off of the track.
So here we are kicking off the chase with a night race. Wasn't part of the plan, but we will take it. So let's go upstairs to the guys in the booth. There's Alan Bestwick, Andy Petrie, and Dale Jarrett.
Nicole, thanks. Had us a nice little 5-hour and 10-minute break. Now we're set to go with the last bit of the first half of tonight's race and the full second half of it. Conditions are good. We should be full to the checkered flag. You're a driver. You've been sitting around for 5 hours and 10 minutes. How do you get yourself ready to go racing at 180 miles an hour?
Yeah, it's difficult. They had to delay to start this race and then a huge delay here right in the middle of things. And it is difficult to get yourself geared back up. You know, you get relaxed there, and it's hard to get your body back going and ready to compete, and that's what you have to do very quickly because these speeds are going to be higher than what you've been running the entire time that you've been here. So you better get yourself ready very quickly.
And now as a crew chief, right, you've had a plan for this race that was built a little bit around the weather conditions and the circumstances we had before. Are you totally rethinking the plan?
Oh, they've been rethinking it for, 4 hours. They've been in the truck running different scenarios, and they're talking about their cars. They're talking about, how the track is going to change. We've heard the pit studio talking about that. But also, this is a whole different shift in the way they've been thinking. They were actually racing that radar. They had all these things in mind of how the strategy was going to go. And another thing I'm going to be looking at is there was cars that were good. The 2 and the 20 were really good, but so was the 48 and the 24. I don't know if this is going to shift that to where we see other cars that might be better now that this track has changed. So we'll have to wait and see how that works out.
So you look at the cars as they run under the caution before the pit road has been opened, this time under this yellow and red flag sequence, and pit road is still going to remain closed for a little bit because they have to finish drying the pit lane. The cars have been sitting there for the last 5 hours and 10 minutes, basically. Where the 13 drivers competing for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship are running in the race, as of the resumption of competition, Matt Kenseth, the race leader, And you see the rest of the chase field down to Kurt Busch, who had a pit road speeding penalty earlier that set him back after he was running in the top half of the field. So while the pit road is closed, give us a chance to catch up with our ESPN in-race reporter, who happens to be leading the race and happened to be the #1 seed in beginning the chase, Matt Kenseth.
Hey, Matt, Dale Jarrett, you with us, bud?
Gotcha, DJ.
Wow, what a delay that was, and I know that you were excited and are excited to be leading, but Alan was just asking me about a driver getting back in and getting prepared to race. What are your thoughts? I mean, is it difficult to get back going again?
I actually feel better than I did at the start of the race for some reason, so I got to watch a little football, got to play with the kids a little bit. They were funky piling on me for a while, caught a 15-minute nap, and now I'm ready to go.
Matt, what are you expecting out of the racetrack here?
Well, I think it's going to be really, really fast. So, you know, for how we were in the beginning of the race, I think we'd be better in more of a hotter, slicker condition, like if it was daylight. But we'll adjust to this. I think the track's going to have a ton of grip. It's going to be really fast. And, you know, get a rubber back in here the first 30 or 40 laps and adjust on it here for then.
Hey, Matt, you looked like you struggled a little bit at the start of that race, and then you got the 2 tires and made an adjustment, kind of came to life. Were you pretty happy with what you had with your race car, or do you think there's going to be some adjustment needing to be made now?
I think there was a little work to do, but I felt like we were pretty close. I just did a poor job on the original start, and I just had to get the track, get some rubber in the track, and then I thought our setup came in pretty decent.
Okay, Matt, thanks for talking with us. You have a great night.
No problem. Thanks a lot.
Still closed, Matt. Still closed.
Hey, Jason Radcliffe, Andy Petrie in the booth. You have us?
Yeah, Andy, I got you.
Hey, man, you had a great car that first part before the rain delay. Are you going to kind of sit on that? I mean, when you have a car that good, is it hard to make changes here based on what we're going to see?
Well, it is. I think the track right now will be very similar to what it was earlier when we started. It seemed like the track changed a little bit after that competition caution at lap 30. I think we'll see the same thing here. But, you know, just as Matt said, it's cooled down quite a bit. The speeds are going to pick up. So we'll see. We'll have to keep adjusting on it all night. The track will continue to change as it takes rubber.
Okay, man. We appreciate you talking to us. Have a good luck rest of the way.
Thanks, Andy.
Jason Ratcliffe and Matt Kenseth from the race leading team as we wait to see if pit road is open this time. 5 hours and 10 minutes. And weather radar that showed it was clear, but it just kept raining and kept raining and kept raining, and finally the rain stopped. And the track officials, NASCAR officials, kept at it and kept trying to dry this racetrack when conditions were really giving them a good fight for a while. But they hung with it, and we're going to get to see the conclusion of this race on Sunday night. Fans have hung here. They're still in the grandstands, some of them, and we appreciate that. We're here because it's our job, but you're still here watching television, and we really appreciate that. You're going to see a great race.
I'm a little surprised that Jason Ratcliffe thinks that the track's going to be similar to what it was. I'd be surprised if it doesn't change quite a bit, because we've seen a big shift in temperature, not just the surface, but the air temp. I just think that we may see some cars that maybe weren't that good before the break rise to the top here.
Pit road's open here. 5 hours after the caution waved. The pit crew is going to spring back into action. Jamie?
Well, you heard Jason Ratcliffe say he expects the track to be similar. They're going to adjust like that. Right sides, track bar adjustment right there, air pressure adjustment. Vince?
Kyle Busch was very happy with his car before the break. 2 tires, right side, chassis adjustment. Doc.
Right side's only for Jimmy Johnson. Track bar back up 1 round. Dave.
Joey Logano running third. His crew carefully tiptoeing out there on a somewhat wet surface. They will talk about changing forward. They're going to do it. He'll lose all his track position as everyone races by.
Well, just like we saw under the competition caution way back at lap 30. A couple of hands full of right side tire only changes here under this pit stop. Stay tuned for NASCAR nonstop coverage during the second half of today's race, presented by Sprint. In fact, we're almost halfway. So what do you say we green flag that right now? You look at the cars taking the wave around. There'll be a handful of them getting back onto the lead lap, including Kurt Busch, one of the championship chasers, who got that pit road speeding penalty earlier. He'll come back onto the lead lap, though was not able to pit under this caution flag. A.J. Allmendinger, David Reagan, J.J. Yaley also getting a wave around to the lead lap. Jeff Burton, the free pass. 2 tire changes for the first 9 on the restart. Joey Logano in the 22 is the first with 4 tires and changing conditions.
Yeah, look at these changing conditions just right here. I mean, you got track temp down to 62 degrees, air temp. These motors going to be making a lot of power, so it's going to be a really fast racetrack. We're going to see some cars maybe hitting the splitter and some other sparks flying.
And a look here at the restart order. And remember again, Joey Logano, 22, first with 4 tires. That happened earlier, too. Logano, who had led the first part of the race, took 4 tires. Took him a while for those tires to start becoming an advantage and to pick up some positions.
Yeah, I'm not sure it ever really came back around to an advantage. I'm surprised they took 4 there.
How aggressive will they be on the restart? And on the first couple of laps on this now very green and not all that long ago wet racetrack. We're ready for racing. Very aggressive is the answer.
Yeah, Ryan Newman is already down testing that bottom. As we see Kevin Harvick doing that down on the apron coming down the front straightaway.
Casey Kane trying Kyle Busch for third, 5 and 18.
I think as fast as these cars are running right now, it's going to be hard to make a pass up towards the front because these cars are so equal and the speeds are so great. It's going to take a little while till the handling starts going away a little bit on some of them. You'll see the better cars. Montoya looks like he's got a tire rub still from that contact that he had probably back right before that created the caution.
Right at the rain, right, when Cole Whitten in the 30 car spun on the wet track and got into the left rear of Montoya's car.
Yeah, we saw a car yesterday, Kyle Larson, have a rub like this, and it didn't take but a few laps, and he rubbed a hole in the sidewall and hit the wall after that.
Here's 4th place, Dale Jr. 88, Casey Kane 5.
All 4 Hendrick cars are in the top 10 right now.
So just to go back and recap, Adam Montoya's left rear is flat.
Yeah, that wasn't going to last long.
Stay up here, got 3 more.
One of the fenders missing.
Get ready, guys. Blown left rear, lower quarter.
Probably debris
apart,
out there
clear
somewhere.
level.
It has to be somewhere.
Yeah, the part of that quarter panel is laying somewhere.
NASCAR asking its spotters in that end of the racetrack. They say wherever it went, caution out for debris. They found it.
All right, yellow's out here. Yellow's
Shouldn't
out.
be too hard to find. There's part of the tire. I wonder where that quarter panel is. Now that's a big break for Kurt Busch.
Huge break.
He took the wave around and he needed to make a pit stop. So,
yep, that worked perfectly for that team.
So by way of reviewing what happened to Juan Pablo Montoya here, this is about 5.5 hours ago.
yeah, it's going to look kind of funny because this is during the day.
Yeah.
But that's where the damage came from.
Wow.
Oh boy,
wow.
That thing just disintegrated. Look
how sideways that car is.
I know. That's Montoya doing a good job keeping it under him.
You're David Rudiman behind that, and all that's bouncing off your windshield.
Yeah,
that's got to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have to be concerned about where the spotters, what they were looking for out there. That took them quite a while to say that there was something and debris on the track.
It's probably all in Rudiman's grill.
It's basically the whole tread, the left rear tire.
So you're the leader. You pit again?
No, they haven't run. How many laps have they run?
Not many.
Yeah, you stay out here. You'll see the wave around cars come in.
And who else? Keselowski from 15th place. He had lost a couple of spots in that first few laps of racing after the restart, and he will lead this group onto pit road here.
I have to say, that was changing conditions of the track, something that he saw very soon that he was going to need to adjust his car. How about that too, Dave?
Keselowski will get 2 tires this time, and an adjustment for the race car. Did not like the way it was handling. You see the wedge wrench going in the left rear. Kurt Busch, they won the battle of the wave around. That's how it's supposed to work. Got back on the lead lap. Caution came out. He'll now get 4 tires. No changes to the chassis. It's pretty good underneath Kurt Busch.
Now, if you're Kurt's crew chief, Todd Berrier, it could not have worked out any better, huh?
It's a gamble. I mean, this is one of those racetracks that you get a lot of green flag running, so he took a gamble that they would get a quick caution, and it worked out for him.
That is Todd, second from the right. And so the break there for championship chaser Kurt Busch. Wave around and then caution flag quickly to make up for the pit road speeding penalty earlier. Race fans think you know something about speed. Buckle your seatbelt. Play AT&T's Fastest Driver Challenge. Text FAST to 34763 and predict who'll have the fastest times in today's race. Brought to you by the nation's fastest 4G LTE network. AT&T. Rethink possible. So this just the third caution of the race. I know it seems like so much more, but that's because we sat there without anything happening on the racetrack but rain for a long time.
What's happening right there? You see the inner fender panels getting disintegrated. Some of the foam from the inside of the doors coming out there too. That the blue stuff you see coming out is the foam.
So the race leader, Matt Kenseth, has had an eye on that debris that was scattered on the racetrack from Montoya's car.
It'd be, I hope we're okay. Hit it with the right front. I just, it's out of Crazy's view there. It's up by the wall, but by the time I saw it, I couldn't miss it. I tried, but it's aluminum or something.
Yeah, take a peek at it, Crazy, see if you see anything.
Real soft, it's aluminum, so if we don't have a flat tire, I don't think it did any damage to the car.
That's where those spotters come into play. They've got enough.
Yeah, there was a lot of debris certainly that came out of there, but it didn't look like anything that was big that would create a lot of damage, even though you're going at a high rate of speed.
See, Matt might be one of the first cars to get to that because Montoya was at the back of the field. You can see something flying through the air.
Yeah.
So it looks pretty heavy.
Well, it's certainly something that he'll keep an eye on, but again, the opportunity to pit was here, and they chose not to take it.
Well, I think the biggest thing is he's not feeling like he has a flat tire, and that would be probably his biggest concern is that. If he doesn't have that, then it probably didn't do that much damage to the nose of the car.
1 to go signal, go back racing in another lap. A.J. Allmendinger got the free pass at the caution flag. He'll come back around onto the lead lap. And where the championship picture is concerned, 12 of the 13 chasers are running in the top 17 spots on the racetrack. Just Kurt Busch just took that wave around, and again, recovering from the speeding penalty in the daylight portion of the race, is got a little ground to make up. Our aerial coverage for tonight's race provided by Goodyear. Everything we learned making tires that face the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR.
Not going to go this time. They may have found some more debris, possibly.
Yep, sending a cleanup truck out on the backstretch. And looking to pick up something that's... I thought I heard him say about 3 feet off the white line. Maybe I heard 3 feet off the wall.
It looks like part of that quarter panel. No, it actually looks like tape, maybe.
Yeah, maybe something they just put on there after the pit stop and came off.
Weren't with us earlier. Jimmy Johnson had a little problem on a pit stop. An error by a NASCAR official cost Jimmy a little bit of ground. Obviously, he's done well in making it up, running in second position. That bad run that Jimmy had through August and the early part of September that had him coming into this chase with no momentum has drawn some comparisons to 2006. When entering the chase, Jimmy's numbers are almost identical to what they are now, his positions and things. Coincidence? Who knows? Well, of course it's coincidence, but how about that?
Jimmy'd like that stat there.
Yeah.
Many times drivers like those things that benefit them and look good for them for the future.
Other comparisons to 2004 when he had a tough run entering the chase, and even in the first few races of the chase, and he won on a tear of wins and wound up losing out on that final frantic race at Homestead with the three-way championship fight, Kurt Busch and Jeff Gordon. And so Jimmy Johnson, no mo coming in, but running well tonight.
Yeah, and they're fortunate that all of that happened on that pit stop happened earlier on in the race. We were able to get it restarted, didn't get to halfway, didn't cost them. Gives them a chance to at least recover from that. But the fact is, they still had a problem on their pit stop where the lug nut fell off, and the right rear tire changer had to take the time to fix that and created a slow stop. But they've done very well since then.
Coming to the green. 26 cars on the lead lap. And not going racing. Another piece of debris. Spotted from the pace car. I think this might have been the one I said was just off the white line earlier that I heard on NASCAR's race control channel, and they didn't get that one. They got the one on the backstretch. So let's try this again. So while we get another one to go signal, let's check downstairs with Jamie.
Well, you definitely heard the officials right, because that's exactly what they've been saying to Matt Kenseth. But meanwhile, the team has been looking at a monitor frantically. And Jason Ratcliffe, the crew chief, I just asked them what they're doing, and he said, well, we TiVo'd your race coverage, and we're playing it back, and they're looking at every angle of the car to make sure there is no other damage from when Matt ran over the debris from the 42. So they're just making sure that their tires are okay and all the fenders are intact. And from that shot, he looks pretty good, Alan.
Well, Jason, there you go. Have a good look.
Looks pretty clean from here.
Picking up the piece of debris that is on the front stretch toward pit exit. This cleanup truck scampering back behind the wall from there. And we're coming to the green.
Are you sure?
This time, I'm pretty sure.
Kenseth was pretty impressive on that first restart, man. He jumped out there, took the lead on the bottom, and actually stretched it out for 5 or 6 car lengths.
So Matt Kenseth with Jimmy Johnson, who is outside. Remember, restart rules adjusted slightly for this race today. No more second-place guy can't beat the first-place guy to the start-finish line. Once the leader makes the move and the green flag waves, it's on. push for second place to the outside of Jimmy Johnson.
You can see Johnson's car wiggle just enough down through the bumps down there in 1 and 2 that Kyle Busch was able to carry the momentum and take that second spot away.
Here's Eric Almirola in the 43 looking for a spot on Casey Kane.
Not going to quite clear him.
Oh.
Got a little bit of a break from Casey Kane right there.
And that gives an advantage to Brian Vickers, who makes a run to his inside in the 55.
And Vickers might be one of those guys I said was going to show up here since the break, and the track has changed maybe in his favor.
And Jeff Gordon, 24. Creeping toward the front. So Vickers gets 5th, Kane 6th, Gordon 7th.
I think that, to your point, I think a cool racetrack and then changing it over tonight brings so many more drivers and teams into the mix because you don't have that effect of the track getting hotter and slicker, and the grip is going to stay there, and that is a benefit to a lot of people that their handling may not be perfect.
Yeah, and that's, the tire, like you say, doesn't get abused by heat, and it may be not what we call a subpar setup, but some setups that may not be just perfect can still be good when you have a lot of grip on the racetrack. And it kind of comes down to horsepower and really how much the driver's hustling.
Joe Gibbs Racing running 1 and 2. Not an unusual trend on mile-and-a-half tracks this year. Here's Brad Keselowski. Remember, he was the first one to break for pit road under that last caution in the 2. Came in from 15th place. Trying to get 15th now away from Clint Boyer in the 15th.
So that was probably a good move for them. They weren't going the right direction before that quick caution. Now they are.
Gave up 15th, restarted 21st, did Keselowski. Jeff Gordon moving up. All 4 of the Hendrick Motorsports cars now in the chase and having a good run so far to start it.
Been a long time ago, and my memory's not what it used to be, but I'm pretty sure that back at the rain delay, Casey Kane was talking about his car being tight. At that time, I would have to say that unless they made a big adjustment here, that might be even worse than why he's falling back here as they run on this restart. He'll be looking to make some more adjustments.
Hey, would you believe, for a race that started at was supposed to start at 1:15 or so local time today, and it's now 9:25 at night local time, we just passed halfway.
Well, we're there.
It's an official race.
As difficult as this is, the drivers, the teams, everybody involved would much rather finish this up tonight, which is going to finish tonight now for sure. But to be able to get back, it creates an even longer and shorter week, a longer day and shorter week by having to be here tomorrow and not get back till tomorrow night.
Absolutely. What you're seeing here, what we saw in the first few laps after the restart, remember we heard from several drivers when we interviewed them at the rain delay about how aggressive they were going to have to be on restarts. And we've seen it already in the couple of green flags we've had since the rain delay. They're really feeling like they have to make a lot of moves as fast as they can, because once the field gets spread out, it's much harder to complete a pass.
Well, when you look at the lap times, and you can look at qualifying, you can look at the times that we've seen tonight, they're so close, and you're looking for any way to get an advantage over your competitor, and they're starting to be fewer and far between. And that's why those restarts are so important, because there is a lot to gain and lose when they do get that green flag. And I think that's why everybody's been so aggressive. I think it's going to get even more so at the end of this thing.
Jeff Gordon's making some moves.
Gordon had a really good car in that first part before the break, and he still does.
And I believe he got 4 tires on that pit stop, and I think that's going to benefit him here. Looks like they've got the handle, made an adjustment to that, and moving forward. How about that 24 events?
Yeah, they're happy with it right now. Jeff Gordon, as you said, did like it before the break. They've adjusted on it just a little bit since the rain, but they knew they had the speed this weekend. They've been a little bit over the board, around the board on the balance, but they've been fast, and that's a key, and they felt like they could zero in on that balance as you see Gordon on the right and Dale Jr. and Logano on the left.
Logano moving up. Remember, he had gotten 4 tires on the pit stop also in the 22.
Yeah, seems to take a little time, and not far behind him is his teammate, Brad Keselowski, who came in again on that next one and made a pit stop, made an adjustment to his car, and he's running well. But, man, this 22 looks like he's hooked up now, as this 24 is.
Yeah.
He's flying right now.
So much of the conversation of the week revolving around all of the off-track business of the sport that happened this week. The Michael Waltrip Racing penalties, adding Jeff Gordon to the chase, and so on. And, you know, as long as this chase goes on, people are going to debate whether Jeff Gordon or Joey Logano should be in contention for the championship. But the simple fact right now is they're in it. That's it. Their job's to go race to win it.
It's plain and simple now. You're there. You were put there for a reason. And as you said, we can all question and debate. Doesn't make any difference. We have 13 drivers that have an opportunity to win this championship. And as a driver and team now, if you're one of those, you go take advantage of that opportunity of being there and try to win a championship.
Yeah, for Gordon, he can just go for broke. I mean, he wasn't even in the chase when he got here.
Yeah.
Now he can just go for it.
Clint Boyer on the move here. Trying to get a spot away from Ryan Newman. This is 13th place they're racing for. A lot of folks thought this 15 car looked awfully good in the practices held here yesterday.
As our graphic showed a little bit earlier with the track temp and everything, it was about 40 degrees hotter track temp than what it is right now as they restarted this race. So a car that was pretty good then may have to make some adjustments to be good here tonight.
Just looking at the scoreboard, though, the 15 car ran the fastest lap on the racetrack last lap.
Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski, Dale Earnhardt Jr. racing for positions 10, 11, and 12. You can continue to watch that action as we go NASCAR Nonstop, presented tonight by Sprint.
Khan Academy is a not-for-profit with the mission of providing a free world-class education for anyone, anywhere. If you look at a Khan Academy video, they cover everything from basic arithmetic to calculus, trigonometry, finance. You can really just get what you need at your own pace. And so Bank of America came and reached out to us and said, we are really interested in making sure that everyone really understands personal finance. We're like, well, we're already doing that. And so it was kind of a perfect match.
The drive to win is for life. And with Sprint, so is unlimited, guaranteed. Switch now and save up to $100 off any phone.
The one for all. McDonald's Dollar Menu. Home of the meaty, melty McDouble you love. And other amazing tastes for just $1 each. Every day, as always, there's a lot to love for a little on McDonald's Dollar Menu.
Republic and Motorola introduced Deck with Heist Mode. Up to 5 friends can take turns controlling the music. Demo Deck first at your neighborhood Radio Shack.
As the official hotel of the NFL, we're always looking for new ways to be your competitive advantage. And we think we found it. Welcome to Home Field Advantage. We're Courtyard, the official hotel of the NFL.
If they have the force of a giant, the
guts of a fighter pilot, the endurance of a heavyweight, if they have the courage of an astronaut, the speed of a bullet, the fury of a storm, if they have the strength of 1,000 horses and the will of a king, if they have all that, they just may have a chance.
Well, during NASCAR Nonstop, you got an eyeful there. First, one of the championship chasers, Joey Logano, slowing with troubles, smoke coming from the exhaust pipes. Let's start with that story first. Here's Dave.
And Alan, he thinks that it may be a cylinder gone bad. He wants him to obviously lift the hood, check the plug wires, check everything they can. But Joey radioed, I believe we've lost a cylinder.
So that was story one. Then you saw the spin from Justin Allgaier that put us under the caution flag. Allgaier leaving the pit road after replacing some flat tires while the leaders come in for stops with 118 laps to go. Jamie?
Matt Kenseth says he's a bit tight between 3 and 4, but overall he's good, just like before the rain. 4 tires, Vince.
Kyle Busch needs a little out of the front tires, so they're going to just go with the 4 tires, no chassis change at all. And then as far as the 24 of Jeff Gordon, right sides only and some wedge, Doc.
Jimmy Johnson 1 round out of the right rear, so the car really getting free in 3 and 4. 4 tires, waiting to get it completely full of fuel. Left side, now they have issues on the left side, trying to get the jack under the car, pulling the left rear fender out. He is down long pit stop for the 48.
And they work on the Joey Logano car, or examine it. Dave?
The Roush Yates tuner is Mike Messick. He leans over to try to check every plug wire to make sure it's affixed to the spark plug. And looking around, they're also trying to see if they can tell which one of the cylinders might not be as hot as the others, and that will indicate which one's gone. But a lot of head shaking here. It doesn't look good.
Yeah, it does. It looks terminal.
Remember, it was in Atlanta where Brad Keselowski was leading the race and had an engine problem. And that is not the way you want to start a championship bid for Logano, who was the pole sitter for this race. So while Logano brings it around and likely goes behind the wall, I think I heard that on the radio there just a second ago. Let's show you what brought out the caution flag. Justin Allgaier in his Sprint Cup debut aboard the 51 car, and it was an interesting couple of laps.
He's had a battle with a couple of cars. This right here is David Reagan. He gets sideways in front of David, and David just about gets into him. I think he actually missed him. This next little conflict, there was some contact.
Looked like he's really struggling with the handling on it. And couldn't get off the corner and out of the way. Landon Castle into him.
He helped him out of the way.
Yes, he did. Allgaier got it stopped before he hit anything of significance. And so while Allgaier heads back out, another one of the championship chasers, Greg Biffle, has been back on pit road for an extended visit. Follow up on that with Doc.
Greg Biffle issues with the car, trying to get the car to handle back on pit road. Want to make sure they got everything tight and snug. Also wanted to make sure that they were correct on some of the air pressures with Greg Biffle, trying to get the car back in. The Biff said the car had just basically changed drastically in terms of chassis. Initially very tight, then loose, then tight. Of course, the track changed a lot. Want to make sure they're good on what they wanted in the car, and that's why they came back in.
And also, apparently, on his first pit stop, Doc had run over an air hose, which is not something you're supposed to do by rules. So, little stumble here for Greg Biffle, who was 16th at the caution flag a bit ago.
Yeah, there's 27 cars on the lead lap right now, so that's going to be costly. See the smoke coming out of the 22, and it's more than likely a piston or something like that. And these cars, when they've sat here for a long time, got cold, cranked back up. Sometimes that can be an issue. I don't know if that had anything to do with this one, this particular one or not. Dave?
Well, Andy, just a quick update as the crew came back over the wall. The word was 2 cylinders are down. So I don't think this thing lasts much longer.
Yeah, it looks kind of terminal to me.
All right, well, the first blow in the championship is the 22. To the 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. 48's way back. He's back in the 21st spot on this restart after another incident in the pits. This team.
They got right sides the last time. They're going to get 4 here. Uh-oh. Jackman has a little issue coming around the car. And even more problems. Even with they had to change jack. Wow.
Wow.
That's tough. So that sets Jimmy back to 19th now for the restart after some things cycle out. Jeff Gordon is the new leader of the race. Eric Almirola is alongside him. Right sides only on the pit stops for them, as well as a number of others. Kyle Busch, the first with 4 tires, is 10th.
Look at Kyle Busch. That outside lane didn't get going very well on the restart, so he just pulled out on 3 wide on. Unbelievable run.
Trouble off of turn 2. Caution flag is out. Got one up in smoke.
And now
and flames. Cole Witt.
Oh, park it. Get out of there as quick as you can. Right there. That's good right there. Get out.
Nice job, spotter, helping the driver who probably couldn't see a whole lot.
Fire crew doing a really good job of getting there on time, too.
Well, after running with only a competition caution until the rain hit the race at lap 108. Now we've had a rash of caution since we've gone back racing. Here's the latest.
That thing just exploded. It must have blown something off the bottom of the engine, and you got oil going everywhere on the headers, exhaust. Instantly went up in flames.
Been in the middle of one of those like that before?
That's not much fun right there, yes, as a driver. And you're glad whenever it goes out quickly. You're mad because it's happened, but then your thoughts turn to getting out.
So a mess from Cole Witt's car to clean up down the backstretch. And they'll tow that car back around, and we find ourselves under the caution for the 5th time in this race. An awful long time after the race actually started. Thanks for hanging with us. An hour and 20-minute rain delay before the race started. Then a 5-hour and 10-minute rain delay. When the race was stopped shy of halfway, a little strategy session on pit road, jumbling up the running order. And right now, Jeff Gordon is the race leader with 113 laps to go. Talked about aggressiveness needed on restarts.
Oh, yeah, watch this guy right here. Watch Kurt Busch. This outside lane just didn't get going very well. So he just pulls out and says, okay, we'll go up here. And when he gets to the corner, it's like he doesn't even lift. That's strong.
How about my boy right there? Good job, buddy. Thanks for taking for us. I appreciate it. Manage your fans. Get everything where you need it.
What he appreciates, he decided to get 4 tires and kind of marred them back in traffic.
Yeah, he's
Kyle took care of that.
Yeah, and you'd think that everybody else that we've seen, it takes a while to get there. And so...
yeah, it took him a while. It took him to turn 2.
Drove his way right up, got half of those cars out of the way in one corner, basically.
So Kyle Busch jumping up from 10th on the restart to 5th there, just like Kurt did in Atlanta. Remember that?
Yeah. You think that's where he learned that move?
So while they clean up and very few of the lead lap cars pit, let's check down to the Quicken Loans ESPN pit studio. Hi, Nicole.
Hello. You know, many moons ago, before the red flag, we talked about some of the things that could pop up during a long delay, and we have seen a few engine gremlins. What's going on, in your opinion, with cars like the 22 and the 30?
Well, what it could be, you know, those cars got hot, they sat for a long time, and they really didn't get a lot of time to warm back up. And we talked about the speeds picking up, so the RPM, the engine had to work harder. And when the engine's not happy about being woke up after a long nap, sometimes they don't do well.
Yeah.
We also have seen a few issues on pit road. Jimmy Johnson, 2 times tonight. Let's start actually with Joey Logano. This is the engine issue, down 2 cylinders.
One of the things Ray's talking about, you know, you get those cycles on that engine and anything can happen. The temperature's really cool outside. You're putting a lot of strains, a lot of revolutions on that engine. Things happen. Sounds like he's down on 2 cylinders. Don't expect this to last much longer.
The Jimmy Johnson pit stop. Earlier in the day, there was the tire issue with the lug nuts. Now we've got a problem with the jack man and using 2 jacks on one stop.
Yeah, this was a jack failure. So he fell down a little bit there, got the jack under the car, went down, and all of a sudden it broke right there. You see it break. He throws it back over the wall, grabs the backup jack, which all teams have, jacks the car back up. A nice recovery, but it's put him way back in the field right now. He's in 22nd, and they're trying to figure out what went wrong with that jack. But he's had 2 problems on pit road right now. He's got to stop having these problems. We all know that, and I think he will.
He did recover earlier after that first pit stop, led 40 laps. So the first stop, which he had the problem on, he lost the lead, was 17.5 seconds. This last one was 24 seconds and lost 20 positions. So on pit road tonight/today, he has lost 25 positions in all.
And you know what? There's reasons for both of those, too. The broken jack was really nobody's fault. And then the official making the wrong call on the lug nut was really not their fault. So you really can't blame them on Chad or the pit crew yet.
Well, I'm not concerned with these actually right now, because as long as this team performs on the track, they can overcome anything. I've seen them do it over the last decade. They're just really unbelievable at bouncing back. As long as they don't have mechanical problems, they'll overcome these.
Well, it's not just a mechanical problem now. The issue is they've got a fast car, and they may have prepared it perfect, but putting it back in traffic like that is what scares me. On these restarts, cars are moving around. This is where they've got to really be careful to not get caught up in somebody else's mess.
So he'll be fun to watch, as has been Kurt Busch so far. Alan?
I really thought when we were showing that shot of the jack man carrying that jack back, he was going to a trash can to dump it in. I don't know why. I just thought that. The timing of the caution flag and the pit stop, perhaps a lucky break for Jimmy Johnson.
Well, it looks like the left rear tire that we had on the car had a puncture, so it was losing tire pressure. So having a left rear tire with the proper air pressure should probably make it a little bit tighter, and we put a run of crossweight in it, so it should have tightened you up a little bit there too. And for your radio's gotten bad, and I'm not sure if you got off the box. Nope, same spot.
There you go. So puncture in the left rear for Jimmy Johnson, and put that one down as a good break, even though they had some difficulty on the pit stop stock.
You talk about all the bad luck Jimmy Johnson's had the past month. You talk about the left rear tire. Take a look. There's the hole that they're talking about. The tire was going down when they got it. They could feel when they pulled it off. It definitely had a hole. They don't know when the debris came in, but that wouldn't have lasted very much longer. It's a sizable hole in air coming out. Jamie?
Well, Cole Witt has been checked and released. I saw some fuel spilling out of the car on pit road before we went green. Did that have anything to do with this?
No, I don't think so. You know, it's just, and it really wasn't even a big motor issue. It's just the fact that it jumped out of gear. I mean, we're in 3rd gear, didn't even get to 4th, and jumped out of gear on the front stretch. So I think it just over-revved and blew up when it did that. But, you know, I hate it for the guys. They were working hard, trying to get me a better car, and it's not the debut we were looking for here at Swan Energy. But, you know, we're going to bounce back. The guys were working hard, and we got the car faster throughout the night. And, you know, these guys got some promise, and I look forward to working with them and making this deal grow up a little bit.
Glad you're okay. Let's go back to Alan.
Jamie, thanks. Coming to the green flag here with Jeff Gordon, the race leader again, now with Brian Vickers to his outside. Let's see who gets the jump on this restart. Edwards, 3 wide, with Gordon and Vickers.
Wow, Gordon got a great run off of turn 2 to take that back.
Got to hand it to Carl Edwards, though. He gave it a shot.
They gave Gordon a shot, too. He kind of pushed Gordon clear of Vickers and then took a shot at Gordon himself.
Well, Vickers got a fast race car there, too.
And then that green car, Kyle's on the move.
He's just adopted a strategy. I'm going where they're not.
Nice when you got a car that makes that strategy work, right?
Yes, it's very true.
Brad Keselowski in the 2. Gave up some track position earlier. Digging it back.
Kurt Busch is in there now. Remember, he was a lap down when we had the first break, the rain break.
Wow, 55, it really slipped. Vickers really slipped around that set of corners. Second place here, Edwards and Kyle Busch.
Brian Vickers is still going backwards. He's got some kind of issue, I believe. I don't know if it's a flat tire, possibly.
There's something wrong with him. He's still dropping. This may be serious. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know if it's a flat tire or maybe an engine issue.
Was second on the restart 3 laps ago. And he's coming to pit road here. Under the hood. Jamie?
He has fuel pressure, oil pressure, losing power. He said he has nothing else to switch to. He's talking on the radio right now to his crew. Had a great car tonight, Alan. Really unfortunate to see these engine issues continue tonight.
So, Andy, pick up the natural discussion that we talked about a little bit ago down in the Quicken Loans pit studio. The long sit under the red flag and the changing conditions.
Yes, that, and also you got cold temperatures like this. The engine block and all the cooling keeps the car cool, but then when these cars go green, they put this tremendous amount of heat on top of the pistons. Those pistons grow at a faster rate than the cylinder walls do, and that could be one of the problems we're seeing here. Is that they build these engines with really tight tolerances, and they can't stand a lot of these thermal shocks like you see with these cold temperatures.
So Vickers down the pit road with the hood up and now being pushed behind the wall in the 55 car. Joey Logano, by the way, is still on the racetrack, and the car is not trailing smoke anymore. So a story that we'll follow up on. There's Logano. He's back in 32nd place. He's on the lead lap. Obviously, he's off the pace and going a lap down here, but the car's not trailing smoke.
Yeah, possibly what happened to this car is just like I said, it could have scuffed one of these pistons, and so you kind of lose the seal. That's why we saw that smoke when you don't see a lot of, it's not making a lot of power, but when you've got that happening, especially with multiple cylinders, you're going to lose a lot of horsepower.
What kind of RPM is my max? That's 8,000 RPMs right there. 3/4 throttle. If you can maintain 7,500 or more, we can maintain minimum.
Yeah, what they're trying to do now is to put the least amount of stress on the engine and still make minimum speed. As he tries to run the car hard, it's likely to just blow up.
Carl Edwards racing for 4th place now with Kevin Harvick after Brad Keselowski got by Edwards. And Harvick picking up a spot. You saw that piece on the track off of turn 4 that the cars just went by. NASCAR saying that looks like a hunk of tape or something, which is why we stay green.
Yeah, it does. I'm watching it now. It's just kind of blowing down the racetrack when they go by it, so it's light, whatever it is.
See Kenseth starting to make his way back towards the front of the pack here.
And taking 4 tires.
Caution's out. Caution is out. Debris right here in 4.
Maybe a change of heart on that piece of debris.
Well, it stopped blowing around, too.
Yeah, it's not going off the track. I think they thought it would get off the track with the cars going by at a high rate of speed, but it is something that could get up and create a bad situation for somebody of getting on their grill or something like that. And it is just tape.
That bare bond or whatever.
It must have stuck to the racetrack because it was blowing down the track for a while, and then all of a sudden it stopped moving.
All right, Andy, let's see. Leader pitted at 149. There are 99 laps to go.
Yeah, we'll probably see them back on pit road here because this is going to put them in a window of making it on one more pit stop.
If you got 2 tires last time, can you afford to leave the left zone again?
Maybe. I was just watching Gordon. His lap time was really good. Some of those cars their cars are good, I think can stand to do 2 tires again because we don't have that many laps since the last time they were in.
Almirola has done 2 tires a couple of different times, and he's had left sides on for a couple of consecutive runs.
Well, he's dropped, though. He probably needs to get 4 this time. He's dropped all the way back to 12.
Understand. I'm just saying it's been done. It's been tried. So Joey Logano, free pass at the caution. Lead lap cars coming in. Vince?
The 18 of Kyle Busch says it's just a little bit tight after 10 laps into the run. As for Jeff Gordon, it's going to be a fuel-only stop. He says it's a little snug, but otherwise good.
Kevin Harvick said a little bit free, a center off. They're going to do 2 right side tires, go in their changes. Dave.
The last time Brad Keselowski took left side tires was 55 laps ago, but he said, I'm okay. If you want to do 2 again, that's what they do. The car was a little bit too free up off the corner. Trouble on pit road for Harvick.
There's the danger.
Yeah, that's just a mess right there.
Yeah, saw Matt Kenseth in the back of, I believe it was the 7 car then, but more problems for Harvick.
That many cars on the lead lap, and you're taking fuel only or just rights. You're leaving while other guys are still trying to get to their pit box like that.
I think Kevin did a good job not to wreck his car. He gave up a lot of spots, but still kept the car from getting torn up.
Inside, pit road speed run. All the way.
Jeff Gordon had to hesitate, which allowed Kyle Busch to squeeze in front of him right here.
Seemed like that 7 car was involved in every one.
Everything there.
And he was just trying to be careful and not getting anybody's way.
He's just trying to get to his pit stop.
Time to go NASCAR Nonstop, presented by Sprint.
Only AT&T lets you customize a Moto X that's designed by you. Choose colors, accents, and much more. Get it now for $0 down, only at AT&T.
For 185 years, Irwin has been making professional tools for professional tradesmen. Today, Irwin Tools salutes those who build this nation with their bare hands. Join Irwin in celebrating National Tradesman Day to say thanks for a job well done.
At Domino's, we take our jobs seriously because we know Americans order pizza when they're building, creating, and innovating. Without pizza, school projects and music albums might go unfinished, startups unstarted. This thing definitely wouldn't be working. No one's coming up with a world-changing idea over halibut. No way. It's always been pizza. So no matter what you're working on, get Domino's $5.99 deal. We can't wait to see what you do next.
I got it. Man comes with a state-of-the-art casing. Care for it with Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. It protects man's skin from dryness as it cleans. Warning, without proper protection, damage will occur. Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. Skin care built in.
If they have the force of a giant, the guts of a fighter pilot, the endurance of a heavyweight, if they have the courage of an astronaut, the speed of a bullet, the fury of a storm, if they have the strength of 1,000 horses and the will of a king, if they have all that, they just may have a chance.
Tuesday, September 24th, we're taking you back to the 80s, and one totally awesome family is suiting up.
Why go shopping when your sister's jeans fit you so perfectly? Look at Brooke Shields. And she's beautiful.
The Goldbergs premieres Tuesday, September 24th on ABC.
Monday Night Football features an intense division battle. Steelers-Bengals tomorrow, 8:25 Eastern on ESPN. It all comes down to Monday night.
The Geico 400 at Chicagoland Speedway about to go back under green. We invite you to check out NASCAR.com for all of your latest NASCAR information. And as they double up for the restart, we invite you to enter online at ChevyOutdoors.com for a chance to win an all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado. Brian Vickers behind the wall. Jamie?
He's in the garage and finished for the night, was running second at the time. Brian, what exactly have they told you about under the hood and the engine issue?
We don't know yet. They just started to tighten it up on the backstretch. We were running second. It was pulling strong up till then. I hate it for these guys. Saren's Dream Machine Toyota was running great all night, and they just did a fantastic job. We had a car that was capable of winning, and we lost a motor, but you know what? There's a lot of people out at TRD that bust their butts and give us great engines, and it's not like I haven't stuck a few cars in the fence before. So we'll get this fixed, and we'll get back out there, and we'll go after them.
All right, we're restarting. Alan?
Greg Biffle did not pit. Remember, he had problems on pit road under the last caution. He's the leader with Kyle Busch to his inside. And what a mess that is.
Gordon's got a problem. He couldn't get up to speed. I don't know if he has an issue with the transmission or what, but he almost got run over by Clint Boyer to start with. Maybe a flat tire.
Kyle Busch to the lead. Greg Biffle, remember, was in 24th at that last caution.
After the left rear. Definitely has a flat left rear. There's contact with that four wide, it looked like, when they were going into one.
Or did that happen on the pit road?
Could have.
Vince?
Yeah, it's a flat tire. It's going to be left sides only. You hear the radio, flat tire for Jeff Gordon coming to the pit box, and they're going to put the new left side tires. Well, what a bad break for Gordon.
The Chasers' troubles are mounting rapidly in this race.
Yeah, I just saw when he went to take off that he just didn't go, and Clint Boyer got into the back of him, and I didn't know if that's what created it or if that was the issue to start with.
Haven't even had a chance to show you yet that Dale Jr. and Casey Kane got some damage in that jam up on pit road a minute ago.
Almost all the Hendrick cars were involved in all of that skirmish.
Kurt Busch, 78. Ricky Stenhouse, 17. Denny Hamlin, 11. 8th, 9th, and 10th. Oh, whoa, Kurt, hang on.
It's the difficulty of trying to make a pass on that inside. It's just so rough. Cars bounce around with these setups that they're running. Got to be under control.
Joey Logano has gone up in smoke. Caution is out. It finally gave up.
Done, just taking the garage.
Yeah, it's very done.
That might be a break for Jeff Gordon. I know he lost a lap, but at least he can get caught back up here.
So caution out for the 7th time. And Joey Logano, who came in as the 6th seed to start the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, is going to find himself with a bad finish. Those dreaded, you want to avoid bad finishes. He's going to have one to open his chase.
Yeah, it's just so hard to overcome that when you get those finishes outside the top 30 to make those points back up when you have others finishing up there in the top 5. Generally have to win a couple of races to really make up that deficit.
So pit road is closed. Pace car hasn't picked up the field yet. As you watch Logano go back into the garage, let's go back and catch you up on an eventful couple of minutes here. We saw the troubles Jeff Gordon had on the pit road under the green flag, on the caution flag stops, and Kevin Harvick. Well, here's Casey Kane's on board.
Stop it, stop it, stop it.
And Dale Jr. was behind him and hit him in the stack up. So they came back in and made long stops to repair the nose and tail of the 5 and the nose of the 88.
Yeah, what sets all that up is you got these cars making either fuel only or right side tire changes, and they're not in very long. So they're in and back out while most of the cars are still trying to get in. So that's what causes these kind of stack-ups.
Yeah, and we've had so many cautions here, and the waiver rounds that have happened that put so many cars back on the lead lap. Just a lot of congestion on that pit road. You have to be careful. Sometimes you just can't be careful enough.
Still have 30 cars on the lead lap here. And, watching Joey Logano go to the garage. So the worst finisher in the first chase race. Here's how they made out overall in the championship. Jimmy Johnson showed it can be done.
Yeah, but if you're not Jimmy Johnson,
you've been generally finished toward the back half of that championship group. Who knew? It'd be so eventful after a 5-hour and 10-minute wait.
You know, in that first part, in the afternoon part of this race, we showed the Hendrick cars all running up in the top 9 at that time. Now they're all outside of the top 20th and later or behind that. So just how the fortunes changed for this group.
Looks like Casey and Dale Jr. are going to be the first two to come to the pit road here, and they are in 22nd and 23rd. Jamie?
And Casey Kane just radioing to his team that he's running a bit hot. His oil temperature is up rather high. So they're going to keep an eye on the front end of that car, put 4 tires on it. Let's go to Vince.
Well, in the 88 of Dale Jr., as you see them working on the front end, they've taken the spare front end off their cart, and they've cut a patch off the spare that they're going to replace. You see the spare there in front of the car. They're going to replace that on the car and replace that damaged section of the car for Dale Earnhardt Jr. to try to give him the best race car he can have the rest of the way. Jamie?
And back here in the garage with Joey Logano, your first chase race. You tried to plug along, but do you have any idea what led to this and what it was?
I'd say somewhere in the valve train let go. It's a bummer for this Shell Pennzoil 14. They did everything we needed to do this week to give us a shot at this championship right off the bat, setting on the pole, leading laps. We took 4 tires after the rain delay to hopefully cycle us up to the front when we take 2 the next caution, like 24 did. And it would have worked out perfect, but something just let go on it. So nothing we could have done different. Just we got to keep our heads up. We got to realize we got a lot of speed. We got to keep this momentum going that we have and not let this take us down. And it's 10 races. You really can't have these issues to win the championship, but we're strong enough to come back from it.
You sounded positive on the radio. You said, it's all right, guys, we're going to win a few. Do you feel like you guys can bounce back from this race?
Oh, we can. It's just that the bummer part is this was one of those tracks that was circled on our calendar of one we can really capitalize on. And unfortunately, we just didn't do it today. We were doing all the right things, like I said, really fast race car and sitting on the pole, just things happen.
Thanks. Joey Logano, 23 years old, the youngest in the chase field. Alan?
Jamie, thanks. Joey with his work cut out for him. Jeff Gordon's got his work cut out for him tonight after leading this race not all that long ago and then slowing with a flat left rear tire after that last restart.
Yeah, he's a lap down. He doesn't have any damage from that, and I think he can recover. He's got a great race car tonight. That's what you're talking about, Dale, on that restart.
You can see he was trying to get going. Very lucky that there wasn't a lot of damage done there to a lot of cars.
This is kind of what set up the 4 wide going into turn 1.
Round your bumper, in line, outside, 3 wide, you're on the bottom. 3 wide, you're on the bottom. Clear low.
I really wonder if that happened on that pit road with all that jamming around, because he didn't get hit there on the restart, Vince.
Well, Jeff Gordon come back for those 4 fresh tires and a chassis adjustment, and earlier we noted the flat left rear, and you can see the puncture mark here. We've seen a lot of debris on the racetrack tonight. Jerry Punch showed you a puncture earlier tonight down on his section of the pit lane. Jeff Gordon definitely a puncture here on that one, cost him the left rear. So guys certainly being cautious of the debris, and Jeff Gordon made the comment on the radio that he felt it going down, but he wasn't quite sure initially if it was just debris on the tire or if he had a tire going down. They got it in just in time.
Yeah, a lot of times what will happen is, they get the racetrack cleaned off. You might not get the apron completely cleaned off. You go out of the pits, you have to stay on the apron through 1 and 2, where we've seen a lot of that debris be, and probably just ran over something from one of those.
So where earlier in the race, all of the 13 drivers competing for the championship were mostly in the top part of the running order in the race. Now look at that right-hand column.
Yeah, not so good. 9 of 13 chasers have had an issue tonight or today.
28th, 30th, 33rd, 20th. Ouch. So we're doubled up for the restart. And after the race only having a competition caution in its first 100 laps before the rain stopped the race for 5 hours and 10 minutes, since we went back to racing, the longest green flag stretch has been 20 laps. And we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 caution flags. And I'm on page 3 of notes about the race.
The 3 and 4 wide racing that we've seen, I don't think we've seen our last caution.
Yeah, we've got another page on that path.
Couple anyway. Kyle Busch chooses the outside lane for the restart. Four wide again. Newman down to the bottom. 39.
Look at Kurt Busch go around the outside, almost like he did in Atlanta on that restart.
Now, I'm going to say that Kyle Busch may get a warning on that restart. He looked like that he slowed the field down there inside that box. Not sure they won't tell him to maintain his speed. As they approach the box here, he sees some cars trying to get a run in. He was actually past the line there that where he could go. So it looked like he just kind of slowed him down. Maybe okay.
I guess it didn't stop all the gamesmanship.
I'm not going to do that. That wasn't something to draw a penalty, at least not the first time.
Greg Biffle, 16, trying to hang in on a little bit older tires than some of these others that are going by him. Matt Kenseth dominated a stretch of the race in that yellow 20. Shuffled back by strategy, took 4 tires, and a bunch of others took 2.
I had to wonder when everybody came for fuel and Biffle stayed out, did they think they couldn't make it at that time, or have they've had enough caution laps now that that's caught them up and they're okay fuel-wise with everyone else?
I think now you probably just want to get back on the same cycle with him now that you've got some track position back, right? Hope you run enough laps that you bring everybody back to pit road here in a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they were counting on, and again, they've gotten those cautions to help them out with the fuel situation.
Yeah, it could be just a gamble to try to get back in sync. And a good gamble earlier was Kurt Busch. He took the wave around after the red flag and was able to now turn that into, he got the cautions he needed, sitting there running third.
27 Menard, 99 Edwards. Remember, they were racing for the lead on the final restart at Richmond last Saturday night. Here they're racing for 60th place. Edwards fading here.
Yeah, he really hasn't. He had that one restart where he was up there, but really didn't stay up there very long at that particular time. It's like they have some handling issues with this car still. You just see that car. He really can't get it in the corner and carry any speed. We saw how fast the 5 car went by him, and then A.J. Allmendinger there in the 47.
29 Harvick, 11 Hamlin. 7th and 8th. Slide up in front of him, not quite. Boyer and Stenhouse 15 and 17. That's back for 14th and 15th.
Yeah, if you're going to do that slide job, you're going to have to do it just at the right second and almost make that other driver lift at some point in time. You're hoping that it gives you that break. It's a chance you're taking.
You can hear these engines screaming. I mean, these cars are running really fast lap times. I heard Joe Logano say that it was probably a valve train issue with him. That's the same thing that happened to his teammate in Atlanta.
Jimmy Johnson might end up with one of those awards for passing the most cars in a race by the time this one's over.
It seemed like on these restarts, every time he tried to start making something happen and passing a few cars in, he got jammed up on the Gordon deal and lost about 4 or 5 spots, and now starting to make his way back forward.
Around Ambrose for 11th spot, Doc.
Yeah, after the jack issue, which apparently was air in the jack when it fell on the left side, he had to restart back in 22nd position. He got to 20th and couldn't go anywhere. Then on the radio a moment ago, he said, Chad, during the yellow, we have got to get track position. Chad said, man, I'm doing what I can do, but we're stuck right now. So Jimmy decided to try to get it on his own, and now is picking him off from 20th on the restart, now moving up into 11th and headed toward the top 10. Apparently the car that was free a minute ago, much, much better with the adjustment.
I'm sure a lot of that freeness that maybe he had was because he was in a lot of that traffic. These drivers tell me these new cars that as they get closer to the rear bumper of the car in front of them, that it actually makes these cars quite a bit freer. And so when he was back there in 21st and 22nd spot, he was around cars all the time, and now he's got a little bit of room to maneuver and he's moving forward. This is for the 10th spot.
A big run on Eric Almirola. Takes that spot easily.
So Jimmy down as low as 24th, back up into the top 10 with still 76 laps to go. Interesting how the look to the front of this field has shifted in the last half an hour, 40 minutes or so, as we've had a couple of these cautions and a couple of different sets of pit strategies and so on. And now you've got guys like Truex up there running second, and Kurt Busch, who's come all the way back from way back in the pack from the pit road speeding penalty earlier, now up running third. There's Kyle Busch, the leader. Truex now running second.
Yeah, a lot of Toyotas up towards the front of this. 4 in the top 7. Yep. Denny Hamlin moving into that 7th spot.
Here's Kurt Busch. Speeding on pit road on a green flag stop way back at lap 76. Served his penalty at lap 80, fell to 29th, a lap down, took a wave around, and has come all the way back up to run in third position. Greg Biffle 4th, Matt Kenseth 5th. The top 5 with 32, make it 31 cars on the lead lap. The 32 is the last of them. Timmy Hill got the wave around at that last caution. Time to go NASCAR Nonstop, presented by Sprint.
Trust me, I know all about energy drink marketing. It makes you feel like you can fly. Bring out the wings! So we're gonna dress you up and we're gonna make you soar. No, it's a stupid idea.
NAS Active is energy for the gym. It's non-carbonated. It's new because it wasn't here before now.
The one for all. McDonald's Dollar Menu. Home of the meaty, melty McDouble you love. And other amazing tastes for just $1 each. Every day, as always, there's a lot to love for a little on McDonald's Dollar Menu.
Republic and Motorola introduced Deck with Heist Mode. Up to 5 friends can take turns controlling the music. Demo Deck first at your neighborhood Radio Shack.
Energizer Ultimate Lithium AA batteries last up to 9 times longer versus Energizer Max, which means up to 9 times less waste. Energizer Ultimate Lithium. That's positive energy.
Man comes with a state-of-the-art casing. Care for it with Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. It protects man's skin from dryness as it cleans. Warning, without proper protection, damage will occur. Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. Skin care built in.
All right, guys, that booth over there, that's our end zone. Brent, hit the outside and cut back. Scott, streak up the center. I'm curling out and crossing over. Ready? Great!
When you've got great friends, Miller Lite and Sports Center Monday Kickoff on ESPN, it's Miller time.
I need a lucky penny.
I need that rabbit's foot.
I need everyone to grow a chase beard. You too, ladies.
Show us what your driver needs to win the chase at NASCAR.com/whatdriversneed.
300 miles complete and 100 miles to go in the Geico 400 for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Chicagoland Speedway. Race number 1 to open the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. The start delayed by an hour and 20 minutes due to rain. Then we went racing this afternoon before the red flag came out for rain again. Another 5-hour and 10-minute delay. We finally restarted at a late night race here in Chicagoland. And the action has been fast and furious. A number of caution flags, a number of changes of picture where championship chasers are concerned. And Kyle Busch establishing himself as the race leader in this latest segment of the race. Brad Keselowski giving up a little bit of track position in this latest run. Dave?
8 positions, Alan, and he's trying to hang on till their next scheduled stop, which is, they were talking about lap 216, but it has gone so loose. It is experiencing such a bad vibration. Paul Wolfe has told him it's not worth wrecking the race car. If you've got to bring it to us, bring it to us. Remember, Brad has had those left side tires on since lap 113, so they've been on there a long time.
Dave, thanks. And with a look at Jeff Gordon there, just an update that Jeff is the first car a lap down. If the caution comes out, he'd get the free pass and get back on the lead lap. That's good until the leader, Kyle Busch, catches the tail end of the pack and starts putting some other guys a lap down.
Well, we had 5 cautions, and all these free pass guys kept getting laps back, and now Jeff needs one when we're staying green.
And a new second place runner is Matt Kenseth has gone around Martin Truex Jr. to the number 2 spot. We give you unlimited access to the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup now with NASCAR Mobile 13 and unlimited talk, text, and data on the Sprint Network. Matt Kenseth has run the fastest lap in tonight's race, 185-mile-an-hour average around this mile-and-a-half track. Get unlimited access to the NASCAR Mobile 13 app with the unlimited My Way plan, guaranteed for life and only from Sprint. See sprint.com/speed for details. Kenseth second, running slightly faster laps than Kyle Busch, trying to eat into his lead a little bit, while Jimmy Johnson picks up another one around Greg Biffle for 6th.
He has got this car flying around this racetrack right now. Jimmy Johnson has found some speed, and it comes when this thing got spread out that he could attack each of these cars one-on-one. He's just been picking them off.
Struggles on pit road for Johnson. If you haven't been with us for the duration, earlier, NASCAR official thought he spotted a missing lug nut. Turned out not to be missing. By the time they got the confusion straightened out, Jimmy gave up a lot of ground on a pit stop that took him from a lead of 3 seconds over second place to 5 seconds behind the leader back in 5th place. Then they had a problem of their own on a pit stop earlier. A jack failed. Sent Jimmy way back in traffic to 19th for a restart. He's been digging out of that hole ever since.
Yeah, but into the top 5 now, just racing his way there. He was asking Chad to get him some track position, but decided to take it into his own hands, get this done. A lot of laps, especially when he's clear of traffic, not making a pass on someone. He's been faster than Kyle Busch and Matt Kenseth in front of this field.
Jimmy 4.3 seconds behind Kyle Busch, now in 5th place. That's just impressive.
Yeah, it really is, because you hear all these drivers talk about how difficult it is to pass because so many of them, all of these cars are so fast, and whenever they get close to them, it just makes it difficult because of that speed. But Jimmy Johnson obviously has his car to his liking right now.
Kurt Busch in 4th. Again, by way of recap, Kurt with a pit road speeding penalty under green has come all the way back from 29th place and a lap down.
Yeah, and something else this 48 has is, if you remember back whenever they were doing that and others were getting 2 tires or fuel, Jimmy Johnson was getting 4 tires, and that's certainly showing up right now with his speed.
You see right there, just making an easy pass on Kurt Busch. Not too many more car leaks up to the 56. So Martin Truex for 3rd.
So, Andy, it's been about 40 laps since we saw these leaders on the pit lane. Now, not all of those laps have been under green, but it's been about 40 laps. We've got 58 to go. We're kind of getting to that tipping point, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. We saw them make early in the race. They pitted early. They pitted like 43 laps, 45 laps into it. We're going to see now just how far they can go on fuel, because if they can stretch this thing out to where there's about 50 laps to go, they can make it easily then to the end. And I think we'll see cars that can do that try to stretch it here.
Look at him go.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the front of this board. We've got our top 3 seeds as we started today. The 3 drivers that won 50% of the races in the first half of the season. And now we're seeing why, because of the speed these 3 drivers carry and put themselves in position. But I tell you, this 48's impressive right now.
Johnson third. There's Kyle Busch, the race leader, a 4-time winner this year, a 5-time winner this year. His Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota teammate, Matt Kenseth, is behind him by a second and a half. As Greg Biffle hits the pit lane. Remember, the Biff did not stop when the others did earlier. He'll come to the pit road with 56 laps to go. Not sure whose radio that was we caught a snippet of there. Doc?
Yeah, Greg Biffle just a moment ago cued the radios. They were getting ready to come down for a pit stop. He'll have to make one more stop, and Greg said the car is blowing up. I said, you mean you're out of fuel? He said, no, it's blowing up. The car doesn't sound good, not running well. I think we have an engine issue. He said, come on in and pit. 4 tires, chassis adjustment. We're going to keep an eye on the 16 car. He thinks they may have an internal engine issue that may get worse.
Wow. Joey Logano already in the garage with an engine failure. And if the Biff should go back behind the wall, that would be another out of that camp.
One thing we saw when we got here to Chicago, it looked like the Fords had some more speed that they hadn't shown lately. We speculated whether maybe they stepped it up under the hood, and maybe they have, and maybe it just maybe more than what they can survive.
Denny Hamlin running 7th in the 11 car. Ryan Newman trying to pick up a spot from him.
The other thing is, just like we talked about the speed, I'm sure these teams were not expecting conditions like this and to be turning these engines as much as they are tonight.
Newman trying to take advantage of getting his spot in the chase. Wow, go back to last week, and Richard, what an outstanding job he did there, closing laps to get himself in position to win that race for all kinds of things happening, but having a nice run here. They got themselves some track position up here inside the top 10. See, really battling the car.
I love watching his in-car, though. You can just tell how hard he's driving. Look at the focus.
Turn that wheel to the right when he went into the corner.
Yeah, that car's not anywhere close to being tight. I can assure you that. He's really having to battle. Getting everything out of this car.
Look at the number. 199.202 into the corner at 202.
That's deep into the run, too. The tires are giving up some grip.
Yeah. Never getting below 160 miles an hour through the corner.
David Ruderman has just gone to the garage.
You can see Jeff Gordon now passing cars that are in the top 10.
He's doing that.
Lap down, but his car is still really fast.
And pit stops continue. Dave?
Brad Keselowski had fallen back to at least 17th, AB. Old left side tires, extremely loose race car, vibration they did not think was motor related. He'll get a wedge adjustment on the left side. They'll fill it full of fuel. Make sure they have it filled, because this may be the last time you'll see the two on pit road.
I'd be willing to bet on that.
Yeah, we're definitely getting inside that window now. I think all the cars that are on the racetrack that haven't made their pit stop can now make it on just one more stop.
A.J. Allmendinger just also coming up to speed off the pit lane. 2 cars not in the chase. They can take chances like that now. Kyle Busch. Is this the year? Well, he's leading the opening race in this chase right now as we approach the final pit stop.
On 2 here. I'm starting to get a heavy mist up here. I don't know if you guys are too, or if it's just me getting blowback from the sands or something.
Spotter?
Well, they are leading.
Now beginning to see,
raining, they would be the beneficiary, wouldn't they?
Yeah, that's true. Beginning to see some top 10 cars filter onto the pit lane. Martin Truex in, Dave.
Wasn't a bad run for Truex there. He only lost one position on the racetrack. He'd like to go forward, though. He said it took off better, but then it went away after about one lap. So they're going to need to make an adjustment. You see the track bar being adjusted there. As far as Denny Hamlin goes, his car was tight on exit. He'll get 4 tires and fuel as well. Jamie?
Matt Kenseth was running a bit hot. They're going to pull some tape off that front grille. 4 tires stop here. Fill them up with Sunoco fuel. Car is pretty good, just a tick loose for the 20 car. The 99 at Carl Edwards, you guys nailed it. The handling has not been great. They've been adjusting on this car all night. Can't keep the back end. You see him hand the wrench there. He can't keep the back end in the track. 4 tires stop. They're going to make, looks like a wedge adjustment here. They already made the air pressure adjustment. Vince?
The 18 of Kyle Busch has been good, but Kyle says he feels it getting way too loose, aero loose, when he gets behind another car. So they're going to make a chassis adjustment there. 4-tire pit stop. This pit crew has been rock solid the last 4 weeks. Continuing on right now, Doc.
Right side tires already on, left side going on the 48. To quote Jimmy Johnson, this car is awesome. No changes. Dave.
78 of Kurt Busch is in. He had been running in the 5th position. He said it started like it was loose off, and then it felt like the fronts had too much air in. So Kurt will get adjustments now. They'll get it full of fuel, and he leaves.
Travis Kvapil, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and a handful of others, including Jeff Gordon, have not yet pitted. Caution were to come out now, it'd be a huge break for Gordon. Not sure it's going to work that way. We'll see. All these guys with faster tires will blowing by Junior.
It's got a lot of damage to that front end where they had that pit road contact earlier on, and trying to get a little bit of a break here.
Check in with Dave.
Talk about just making it onto pit road. That's what Kurt Busch radioed to his crew. This, of course, blew out as soon as he slammed on the brakes and got it all the way in, but it was already going down. He last changed lefts on lap 123, and they gave all they had.
He had him smoking and boiling, trying to get down to pit road speed too, Dave. He was getting everything he could getting in there.
Got his money's worth out of that set of tires.
Yeah, he did. Dale Jr. pits from the race lead. Vince?
Well, it's really been a struggle from the handling perspective ever since they had the damage on the front end here. Steve Letarte told Dale Jr., he said, I know, I understand. We're going to fix it. He said, well, they were hoping to get a yellow so they could take more time to do it. Obviously haven't gotten the yellow to do that, so they're going to make do the best they can with this adjustment here in this green flag pit stop.
They got something adjusted, so that took a long time.
Yeah. Another one of the championship hopefuls having a tough night. So Jeff Gordon is the race leader now. Out of sync with the rest of the front runners after the flat tire just after the last restart that brought him to pit road at lap 173. We're now at lap 224. Gordon hoping against hope for a caution flag sometime before he has to stop. And Jeff only running couple of seconds in front of Kyle Busch.
He only has about maybe 5 or 6 more laps he can run before he needs to pit for fuel. If that.
There is the race, what will become the race for the lead after Gordon pits. Looked like Kyle Busch had a little trouble getting away. Oh, there's a trouble. Dale Jr.
I saw Stevie.
Like it blew up.
Yellow flag. And the flames out the exhaust pipe from Dale Earnhardt Jr. Another championship hopeful going to be in the garage before the end of this race. Junior had just pitted. And he's obviously trying to figure out something specific about that car to get a look at.
It's pretty violent. I mean, it looked like the engine just blew up coming down the front straightaway. Oh, yeah, big time. Clint got a good look at this.
You're okay. He's on the bottom. He's going to come up. Get clear.
Wow. So, big break for Jeff Gordon here, Vince.
Jeff Gordon's race car is real good, but he says in traffic, as we talked about before, it just gets a little bit too free. So they're going to put some tape on the front end because his temperatures are good, and also put a round of wedge back in that left rear. They like the race car they've got right now. It just could be a little more stable when he gets behind other cars.
Dave?
Yeah, the reigning champion, Brad Keselowski, he'll take 4 tires. The exit was good, but it was the entry and center that he was not happy with. They'll make a wedge adjustment back out from what they did a little earlier.
Well, just before he has to make a green flag pit stop, the caution comes out and helps Jeff Gordon at least get back on the lead lap after his troubles on the last restart when he was running so well and had a left rear tire go down. The good news for Jeff Gordon and his crew chief Alan Gustafson coming at the expense of their championship chasing teammate Dale Jr. We go NASCAR Nonstop, presented by Sprint.
Ultra rugged phones from Sprint. Buy one, get 4 free and $150 credit when you switch your business line to Sprint, the pioneers in push-to-talk.
I need to be unrecognizable. Somebody that I can pull off a fun prank with.
Oh, you sort of gravitate.
The official NASCAR Sprint Cup Series sponsor. Learn more at sprint.com/speed.
Who'd have thought after 6 hours and 30 minutes of rain delays, we'd come down to the final 50 miles of tonight's race with a fair bit of drama still playing out at Chicagoland Speedway. Ready to restart with 37 laps to go. Joe Gibbs Racing teammates Kyle Busch and Matt Kenseth on the front row. Kyle, the race leader, in the control car for the restart. There are some 24 cars on the lead lap. Dave Blaney, the free pass at this caution. Jeff Gordon getting back in the cycle of things is 18th for the restart. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been towed to the garage, right now listed in 34th place. Nice catch by Eric Almirola there. That could have been big trouble. Greg Biffle, things have turned in his favor all of a sudden after being out of sequence with everybody else on the pit stops. The caution flag fell in his favor. Now the Biff is up there in the top 5.
Yeah, he's battling up there in the top 5. You see Kurt Busch trying to make his way back there. Jimmy Johnson lost a few spots on this restart.
While Biffle and Kurt Busch and Jimmy Johnson race for 4th, 5th, and 6th, Dale Jr. has been released from the medical center. Jamie?
And he tells me he's okay. Engine went in a big way, Junior, but you were looking at the car. Did you see anything? Were you looking for anything?
I was just trying to see if it was terminal, if we can get back out there, so I got to go over to the garage and see, but whatever it broke, it put oil all underneath the rear tires, so it was something pretty serious.
Are you saying there's a chance you're going to actually get back over there?
It ain't the motor, so we'll just have to go see.
I'm smelling oil all over him, but he's going to run back to the garage, Alan.
All right, Jamie.
I don't think he's going to be able to get back out.
In fact, his car has just been reported out of the race by NASCAR officials down in the garage. So Junior's done. Here's Clint Boyer. 12th place, trying to get more. One of the championship hopefuls. You see a high of 4th on the night for Boyer, but hasn't really been in that top 5 a whole lot.
Had one stint there where he ran up in there after getting 2 tires on a pit stop, trying to make his way inside the top 10 here now, around a teammate. How about this 15, Dave?
DJ, the problem for Clint all night has been the car won't turn, the car won't turn. He was reminded, though, after Junior apparently had a motor let go, if we just hang in there, we can get a single digit out of this. Currently 10th, they may do it.
Clint around his teammate Martin Truex Jr. and working on that single-digit finish tonight here in Chicagoland.
Yeah, right now, out of the top 10, we only have one driver in that top 10. That's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. that's not a chase driver.
Jeff Gordon trying to join that top 10.
He's fast. He's going to need another caution to show really what he can do to get him back up there if he can even challenge for a top 5 position. Pretty good recovery from what it looked like they may have, though, because he was just a few laps from having to pit and go back a lap down and be back probably something outside the top 25 with a finish.
You're not kidding. This night's going to be about recoveries and twists and stories and those who couldn't recover, like Joey Logano and Dale Jr. out of the race. Casey Kane, see the front end and back end of that 5 car all band-aided up. Contact on pit road earlier that dropped him back in the pack. Now Kane running in 7th.
You know, we've got a driver running 3rd in Kevin Harvick, who we expected to make his way up there. Haven't talked much about him, but here he is, just like we know Harvick can do, show up towards the end of these races and be a part of the finish.
Especially here at Chicago. This is one of his better racetracks.
Yeah,
he's got a couple of wins here.
Second week in a row, solid drive by Stenhouse in that 17.
Yeah, really impressed. You know, we talked as we covered his 2 championships in the Nationwide Series, just what a great talent he is. And as they've gotten these cars better and better over there for him, and he's adapting to them, see him showing up inside the top 10 a lot more. But a nice run tonight.
And we're going to hear a lot more from him as the years go on here.
He's standing in the way of Boyer getting that single digit they're looking for.
And got Jeff Gordon closing on both of them.
This is probably one of the best cars I've seen seen Jeff Gordon have in a long time. This thing is really fast. Like I say, Dale, I'm not sure he's going to be able to do much with it if he doesn't get a caution.
He knows what to do with it under green for sure.
Yeah.
Impressive run back up inside the top 10.
Trouble, turn 4, Allgaier.
Hang on to it. Hang on to it. All right, buddy, get it squared up. Get her squared up here. If you don't have a flat, keep digging. You're still only 1 down. We're okay here. Just get back rolling, fill it out here. Make sure you ain't got a flat.
Sprint Cup debut for the Illinois native. Not going to end as he would like. A second spin on the night, but I guess that's 2 spins and you didn't hit anything. That's okay.
See if he had a left rear tire that was going down, or if he just got loose down in here. Yeah, that looks more like it.
Paul Menard just barely got out of that one.
There are times you can do a good job after you've lost control. He didn't do the great job then, but he did nice after that. Didn't tear up anymore, and he'll be able to get some tires and go back at it.
27 to go, Andy.
Well, this is a tough one right here.
What do we got going on here?
I'm not sure.
Somebody will have to help me figure that one out, if that goes back to the last restart maybe, or what. But I'm assuming That's wrong to assume. I'm just guessing that Kevin Harvick was expressing some displeasure about something there.
Okay, we see some guys coming down pit road.
6th place Biffle, first one in. Split decision on the pit strategy here. Jamie?
And Casey Kane opted to come in right side track bar is the call. Yes, that is. And 4-tire stop, 2-tire stop for Casey Kane. An audible there, 6.1 seconds.
A lot of 2-tire stops there among the cars that did come down the pit lane. Just about all 2-tire stops.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Biffle needed to make a pit stop. I don't think he had enough fuel to make it to the end.
And you were saying about Jeff Gordon needing a caution.
Yeah, there it was.
Got it. Time to go NASCAR Nonstop, presented by Sprint.
Can I help you? Excuse me, hi. I wanted to find out about the Unlimited for Life guarantee.
Sure. Sprint is guaranteeing unlimited talk, text, and data for life.
Cool. And what if, say, technically you were not alive? Like, maybe you were on...
Aerial cover.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Down to the final 25 laps of the Geico 400 at Chicagoland Speedway, and our aerial coverage for today's race provided by Goodyear. Everything we learned from making tires that face the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. And perhaps I should change that wording to say tonight's race. So we saw the 3-wide with Kevin Harvick in between Matt Kenseth and Kyle Busch, and speculated on what was up. Well, when the caution came out, 18 and 20 slowed down.
Yeah, look at the pace car. He's way up here.
Just coming off the pit lane to pick up the front of the field.
Because Harvick didn't think the 18 and 20 were going fast enough, so he just passed them and pulls up behind the pace car.
Doc, you got more?
Yeah, he just simply said they've shut their engines off. They're saving fuel. They're not maintaining speed, so I'm going to go on by him and head for the pace car. He was a very frustrated, a little bit upset that they didn't allow him to maintain that position, given the fact the 18 and 20 had shut him off and were coasting without power.
Well, at least that explains it. We couldn't figure it out there at first.
It was awfully quiet, that 18. So we're going back racing with 23 laps to go. We have 24 cars on the lead lap. Top 9 stayed out. As you look at them for the restart, first one that pitted was 10th place Casey Kane. First one with 4 tires here is Jamie McMurray in 18th. And it's going to get interesting.
It's going to be wild right here. Watch this 24 car on this restart. I think he's going to try to make some things happen. Casey Kane with 2 tires and adjustment on his track bar to try to help him. Matt Kenseth to the lead.
There you go. That's what I was about to say. And a new leader, Matt Kenseth. Gordon and Kane still fighting for 7th and 8th, while Kenseth, Kyle Busch, and Kevin Harvick run 1, 2, and 3 in that order. Then it's Kurt Busch and Ricky Stenhouse, 4th and 5th.
Jimmy Johnson had moved up on the racetrack there down in 1 and 2, trying to get a big run. See if he can gain some spots here in the closing laps.
Been a long day and evening for all of these drivers. Now's the time when it counts the most. They've got to gather up their reserves as Denny Hamlin is off the pace.
Had the makings of looking like another engine issue for the 11 car. This continues. Their terrible year. I was going to say summer, but it's been a bad year.
And I was thinking the theme of the night, if it is another engine
issue.
Gordon can't quite clear Stenhouse.
He's been really strong on the bottom down here in 3. See if he can make it work.
Denny Hamlin did take his car straight to the garage. And the report up from Dave on the pit lane, it was the engine in the 11 car that has taken Denny Hamlin out of this race.
Each make has had an engine failure tonight. All 3 of them.
Keselowski's the only car that I see that came in, pitted, got tires. Is it making any kind of move towards going towards the front here with those tires?
So Matt Kenseth takes advantage of a late restart in which he was not the control car. Kyle Busch had the lane choice on that restart, but Kenseth was the one that found a way to squeeze past and get the top spot. Key moment of the race.
See Kenseth down on the inside on the restart. Did a good job of not spinning the tires and staying right with Kyle Busch here. This is where he really takes control of this race.
Looks like Ryan Newman helped him a little bit too. No, that's a 29. I'm sorry.
I got a little push from Kevin Harvick there.
But Kevin couldn't follow him through.
Gave him a shove though.
So Kenseth now back in command. Has led the most laps in this race tonight. Got shuffled back into the pack by strategy, but worked his way to the front and now found a way around his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate to have the lead of this race into the final 15 laps.
That's how you'd want to start a race, with getting maximum points, leading the most laps and winning the race. And he came in as the leader, so.
9th, 10th, and 11th here. Newman 39, Kane 5, Boyer 15.
There's just something about saying that you started off the chase, if nothing else, with a top 10, not being that 11th place car. Even though it's only 1 point, there's just something about that number of a top 10.
Boyer got an eyeful. It's the one running right behind Dale Jr. when that engine went up a little while ago. NASCAR now coming up next with more post-race coverage from here at Chicagoland Speedway once we're finally done racing. And we sure do appreciate your hanging with us. It's been a long day.
Definitely been that, but we've seen some good racing here, and here goes Boyer. Moving himself into the top 10. Looked like Casey King got a little wide there. Boyer had to basically dodge him.
Jimmy Johnson had it rolling a little earlier.
Looks like he has it rolling again.
Then kind of looked like he got boxed in a little bit on that last restart, and it's taken him a little while to get going.
Yeah, but we really thought that he may have an advantage in a faster car. We have to think back that he had 4 tires versus the others had older tires on their cars. But yeah, impressed. They could come back from a couple of miscues on pit road. I tell you who I'm really impressed with. This team, this 78 team, and the job Kurt Busch does, Todd Berry does a great job in the pits and putting them in a position all the time. They keep running up here in the top 5. They'll find that day or night whenever they're going to have everything go their way and get a victory in this chase.
They're for real. And I tell you, Kurt, he's not giving up either. He's going to race hard all the way to the end.
Furniture Row Racing based out in the Denver, Colorado area. Such terrible flooding out in Colorado, certainly on the minds of all of the team members here at the racetrack this weekend as they've checked on loved ones back home. Kurt running in 4th spot, trying to defend that position from Jimmy Johnson, Dave.
And Alan, they did make a change on the crew this week. Even though they had issues with the rear last week and at Bristol, that was not their major area of concern. It was the front tire changing. So they added Matt Humphreys from the number 2 Richard Childress Racing car in the Nationwide Series. He was on today. The crew did a solid job, kept Kurt in contention all night long.
Great drive to start the night. And again earlier, Kurt with a pit road speeding penalty under the green flag that set him all the way back to 29th place a lap down. When we had the 5-hour rain delay, they stayed out when we went back racing, took a wave around, the caution fell quickly. They came back around and got back in cycle with the front runners in the race.
Comes Gordon trying to get himself up into the top 5, passing his teammate Jimmy Johnson.
It looked like Jimmy was able to put some pressure on the 78 of Kurt Busch, but then fell back a little bit. Gordon's going to take the spot from him.
Besides the weather, what this race has been about, on about every one of these cars, there's one of those stories like I just told about Kurt Busch. He had this trouble and fell back to here, and this break happened, or they worked this strategy and came back to there.
And the only two that we really haven't had to say that about are the 2 guys running 1st and 2nd. Matt Kenseth and Kyle Busch have been up there inside that top 5 most of the day. Once Matt Kenseth and his team got 2 tires on that first competition yellow, worked themselves up into the top 5 and have been there most of the rest of the night, day and night.
That was close.
Can't quite clear Jimmy.
Still for 5th place. Going to have some lap traffic just ahead. Juan Pablo Montoya's car damaged when a left rear flat. Then let go earlier. You see tore up the quarter panel on that 42 car. And Johnson is able to hold off Gordon for the spot as they clear Montoya.
Yeah, it just shows the difficulty. Both of those positions right there. Harvick in 3rd, Kurt Busch in 4th. I think the car behind there, the 78 car, is faster than the 29. Hard to make that pass. Same with the 24 and the 48. I believe Gordon has a faster race car right now, but just completing that pass, very, very difficult because these cars are so equal in the speeds that they're going.
They will look back on this race, if it ends as they're running now, though, as a very successful night and a great recovery for all of them.
But you know, you can't really win this championship in this 10 races in this first one, but you can sure lose it here with things. And a number of these teams battled through adversity, just like you're talking about, and kept themselves in this race for the chase.
And again, on the long list of stories, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Joey Logano both out of this race with engine failures. They're going to finish 35th and 37th, respectively, to start their championship bids. Still a good fight for 3rd place. Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch. As we're down now to the final 3 laps.
Harvick's kind of running in the tracks that Kurt Busch kind of found some speed and caught up to him. I think that we'll see him as he gets down to maybe this last lap, that he'll make a dive to try to go to the inside and see if he can get up beside of Harvick and possibly beat him back to the line.
Kurt still trying to find a way around while Matt Kenseth is going to come to the white flag and be a lap away from scoring a win tonight. Our Goodyear Superior performer tonight, Matt Kenseth, that last restart where he found a way around Kyle Busch to take the lead. Final lap of the race is underway. The number 1 seed entering the chase. Likeable, fun sense of humor, easy to talk to, but all business behind the wheel. Tonight, he'll wind up leading the most laps, and in an effort to start his championship off, will collect maximum points at Chicagoland. Checkered flag and the Geico 400 to Mr. Matt Kenseth from Wisconsin.
You're fine, Mikey. Good job, boys. Yes, thank you, guys. Good job, guys. Guys, thank you, Jason. Thank you, team. Hey, just so you know, it's a record win year for me, and I'm the same driver. It's all about you guys, man. I sure appreciate you. You guys make me look good every week.
I'll tell you, Matt Kenseth seems to enjoy winning more than ever this year. I've never heard him get so excited after winning these races.
Yeah, I think he's just appreciative of the opportunity and having these opportunities to compete at such a high level week in and week out. And he's thanking the crew, but they're thankful they've got this driver and thankful that Joe Gibbs found it in his heart and in his mind to put him in this race car.
Speaking of the coach, Vince.
What a great night for Joe Gibbs Racing, finishing 1-2. Matt Kenseth winning the race, and Kyle Busch finishing second. Coach, in the big picture of the chase, how significant is it for both your cars to finish 1-2 tonight?
Well, it's only one race, but I got to tell you, it was a great night for us. Lord bless us with a great night. We got great teams. So happy for Dollar General and Rick and everybody with the 20 and Matt. What a great job he's done. And then Kyle. And just Doublemint and everything that they've done for us at Mars. Just appreciate everybody. I hate it for Denny and FedEx. We lost something there. I don't know what it was. It was a great night for us, and I just really want to enjoy it. Our guys did a great job. Thank you for everybody back home that worked on those cars. Everybody at the shop, everybody did a great job. Thank you, everybody. We're going to enjoy it. Lord bless us.
1-2 finish for JGR. Doc?
Kyle Busch climbing out of the car. Kyle, what a night for Joe Gibbs Racing. First, let me get back to that last restart. You and your teammate side by side, and going into one, it seemed like that Matt was able to get an advantage. How'd that happen?
29 pushing him. You know, it's 1,600 horsepower versus 800. So I just hate it, man. We had a great car tonight. We were really off yesterday, but Dave Rogers and these guys really pulled through for me and gave me a great piece. This Doublemint Camry was awesome, so can't say enough about Doublemint gum. M&M, Snickers, Monster Energy drink, Toyota, these guys, they worked hard, gave me a good piece, and I just, you know, Kurt didn't get a good enough restart to get with me to push me forward, to keep us side by side getting into one, but they beat us, and it is a great night for Joe Gibbs Racing to start the chase like this.
What a message Joe Gibbs sends here in race one of the chase. Vince.
Jimmy Johnson finishes fifth tonight, and Jimmy, you guys had to battle through some unfortunate situations throughout the course of the evening, but to come back and finish fifth, how significant is that in the chase hopes?
Yeah, really big. You know, the next to last run, we got ourselves right back in the thick of things, and unfortunately, we just didn't have the speed at the end there for that final segment to go race for the win. But from a jack failing to call on pit road with the lug nut not supposedly on, a variety of issues, it was a great comeback. So. You know, want to finish better, of course, but very proud of all the hard work from Hendrick Motorsports, Chad Canales, and the Slows 48 team. So off to a good start.
Yeah, great recovery. Dave?
Vince checking in with Jeff Gordon now. He's checking in with crew chief Allen.